This is TNT Sports, home of NASCAR's Race to the Championship.
TNT Sports welcomes you to the New England 300, presented by Stacker 2 for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Sunny skies, a packed house, and 43 drivers ready for a 317-mile chase. Hi, everybody, I'm Bill Weber. Welcome back to the New Hampshire International Speedway. In the last 8 races, 8 different winners. In the first half of this season, 13 different winners, and a lot of miles still to go. Now, Ricky Craven isn't the only guy who considers this his home track. Here's another to call the New England 300, Alan Bestwick.
All right, Bill, thanks. That's true. Rhode Island's own. Welcome to New England. Welcome to TNT's coverage of the New England 300. The 1973 Winston Cup champ Benny Parsons joins me for today's race. BP, the #1 topic of discussion in the garage. How will the design changes to this racetrack affect the competition?
And no one really and truly knows. They're all hoping for the best, hoping they'll be able to pass. We talked to Dale Jarrett on the wagon. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to use some pit strategy to get up there. We talked to Bobby Labonte. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to use some pit strategy to get to the front. There's another car starting in the back, the 21 car. Elliott Sadler, who was very, very strong in happy hour yesterday. I think all teams and all of us will be watching those 3 cars just to see what past is going to be like. Can they get to the front?
I like it.
Is there someone missing here?
Yeah, I'm sure everybody wants to know where's Wally. Yeah. I know he came back from St. Louis with me because he was on the airplane. Wally, where are you?
Down here, Alan.
Where?
Well, I'm about halfway down the grid. I'm in a bright yellow car. I couldn't run my Rouse car this weekend because I was in St. Louis with you, so I came here early in the garage area, and I bummed a ride. This is what I wound up with.
They gave you the keys to the pace car?
Can you imagine that?
They don't know what they got into.
Wally, I think you need to buckle a seatbelt if you're going to go 45, 50 miles per hour now.
I got 45, 50 mile an hour. I got you guys talking to me, NASCAR talking to me, and I got to do all this at the same time. You all know better than that. I can only do one thing at a time, so hope I don't mess it up.
All right, make sure you do get out of the way. Wouldn't be beyond him to try and sneak his way into the race in somebody else's car.
I will be the first car out today, no question about that.
All right, we'll see you up here in a little bit. Coming up next, the opening ceremony and the start of the New England 300 here at New Hampshire International Speedway.
Stacker 2 presents the New England 300 on TNT. Today's race is brought to you by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Burn fat, crush cravings, and supercharge your energy. By Pep Boys. Pep Boys, we're car people. By Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. And by UPS, official delivery company of NASCAR. We want to race the truck. People love the truck.
101,000 New Englanders have wrapped up the tailgate parties and filled the Speedway's grandstands. The New England 300 is moments away. Let's go trackside.
Now to give the command that will send the field on its way in the New England 300 is our Grand Marshal from General Motors, Sue Sieglund.
On behalf of all the General Motors owners and our dealers, gentlemen, start your engines.
Will the race be a wreck fest? Will the tempers flare like last November? The answer to these and other questions coming up next. A perfect day in New England for NASCAR Winston Cup Racing. The New England 300 presented by Stacker 2 before another sellout crowd at New Hampshire International Speedway. I'm so jealous.
Of what?
Wally. I mean, you're a Winston Cup champion. You've driven around these racetracks. I would love to be driving that pace car right now.
See, he didn't even buckle his seat belt.
Yeah, I got it buckled.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have it buckled. Got a lap belt on.
There you go. Do a good job now. All right, done a lot of talking about this racetrack, BP, in reality. Let's do it in virtuality, too, if that's such a word.
We'll take one more chance to go inside the track changes inside our EA Sports NASCAR Thunder 2003. Everyone has agreed that the start and restarts are going to be the most exciting time, because you're going to be on the bottom either by purpose or by fate. One way or the other, you're going to be on the bottom of the racetrack. If you're not down there, you're just going to be in a very interested spectator as to what goes on. If you get down and find that you can pass, hey, you've got a clear sailing all day long. You may be the one hoisting the trophy, and I'm #1 in victory lane.
Yeah, he's got a neat uniform.
65!
Bill Elliott was the fastest qualifier for the 3rd time this year. His 54th career Bud Pole Award earned on Friday from Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, proud sponsor of the Bud Pole Award given to the fastest qualifier at each Winston Cup race. Anheuser-Busch is awarded more than $7 million as the title sponsor of NASCAR's Pole Award program. And now the Walmart starting grid for today's New England 300, presented by Stacker 2. Mike Skinner, great qualifying run for the Morgan McClure team. He'll share the front row with Bill.
And on the inside of row 2 is Rusty Wallace. And Bobby Labonte crashed in practice. Will have to go to the back of the field, giving up that 4th spot.
Dave Blaney and that 77 team, they've been running better and better every week. A lot of folks think they could have a good one today.
Ryan Newman on the inside had some kind of problem with a wheel on his qualifying tire. We'll have to check on that later.
If Ricky Craven gets to the front, the New England native, you will hear a roar from this crowd. Unbelievably loud, right over the top of all those engines.
And there's a great row, row 6. Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart. Winner could well come from that row.
Jimmy Johnson, leading rookie this season so far, going to go from row 7 with Jeremy Mayfield, and Jerry Nadeau continuing to sub for Johnny Benson, or subbing for Johnny Benson, starting this week, I should say, in that 10 car.
There's another great row, row 9. Sterling Marlin, the points leader on the outside. Martin Martin in second, and the points on the inside.
Terry Labonte, Ken Schrader in row number 10. Jeff Burton, one of the most successful drivers in this track's history, going to come from row number 11 today. Frankie Stoddard, his crew chief, told me this morning their car feels back like it did when they were so dominant here.
And on the outside of row 13 is last year's winner, Robbie Gordon. Robbie, Benny Parsons up at TNT. You got me? Well, we just talked to him a moment ago.
Hit him again.
Robbie Gordon, Benny Parsons, do you read me?
Kenny, how are you?
I'm great. You won this thing last fall. Can you do it today?
We had a really, really good car in happy hour yesterday. Very fast on old tires. I think the singular team can win today.
Have you been down on the new groove, on the bottom groove? Can you pass down there, Robbie?
Did a little bit of that yesterday, trying to pass people. The way we're going to have to do that is we're going to have to diamond the corner up there at turn 3 and come across that flat and try to get underneath them, head down into turn 1.
All right, good luck to you.
Thanks, Benny.
Robbie Gordon coming from the 26th starting spot. He started 31st when he won here last November. So there you go, the 43 drivers ready to take the green flag 3/4 of a lap from now. Marty?
Well, Alan, it's been a difficult week at best for Kyle Petty. Remember, he lost his son, Adam, here at this track 2 years ago in May. He said it doesn't get any better. It will never get any better to come to New Hampshire. Wife Patty will never come back to this racetrack. But some good news, all 3 cars are running well. They might get the first top 5 of the year. To Matt.
Marty, the top 2 drivers in points, Sterling Marlin and Mark Martin, start in row 9. Martin should have the edge here at New Hampshire with an average finish of 8.6 compared to Marlin's 20.5. 49 markers out of first. Martin looking to make a push. Both drivers have never won here. Both looking for the first Winston Cup championship. Dave?
Crew Chief Billy Wilburn says Rusty Wallace is as happy this week as he was unhappy last week when he finished 1 lap down in 25th spot. Alan?
Rusty starting 3rd. Pace cars off. Wally made it safe. 300 laps of racing. NASCAR on TNT is back. Watch that inside lane.
That's right. Let's see that big dive to the bottom of the racetrack. And they're all trying to get up to the racetrack that was here last year. No one is trying to use the inside. Oh, Rusty Wallace. Where did he come from? It's Skinner on the outside with the lead.
Bill Elliott with a little stumble off turn 2. Mike Skinner leads lap 1. When's the last time he led a race? When's the last time that team led a race?
Oh, and Skinner goes in turn 1 and gets too high and goes back to 2nd, 3rd, maybe 4th. Oh, no.
Dave Blaney in the 77.
It's been so long that Skinner got all excited.
Oh, Blaney sideways.
There's 3 of them.
Oh, and everybody gets by. Blaney went in and tried to use that inside lane underneath Skinner going into 3, and it looked like the car didn't stick.
Okay, question asked, question answered.
Yes, sir. It's going to be tough down in that bottom lane. Early caution here in the New England 300 presented by Stacker 2. Dave Blaney crashed in turn 3. Didn't take long for the first caution flag to wave in the New England 300. Mike Skinner, Dave Blaney racing for 3rd into turn number 3.
All right, let's take a look. There we see, we said that the yellow 77 car. They go down in the corner on the inside. Skinner in the 4 car. Blaney is just too flat down there. We thought maybe they'd be able to use it. He spins up. The 12 of Ryan Newman, the 17 of Matt Kenseth. Both of those cars do not make contact, but do lose a lot of track position.
Almost looked like from the way Skinner ran into that turn that he was expecting Blaney to go below that first broken line and use that inside lane, and Blaney didn't want to.
No, he didn't want to. He was hoping that Skinner would go up the racetrack and give him a little bit more room. Did not happen, but again, Skinner was in the groove. Blaney was trying to make the pass, and I tell you what, he made some pretty good contact with the outside retaining wall.
And has been on pit road for repairs, and we're set to go back racing. Rusty Wallace leads. Bill Elliott is 2nd. Mike Skinner 3rd. Tony Stewart and Ricky Rudd round out the top 5 on the break, minus the accident car of Blaney.
Hey, Dave, what'd they do to 77? How bad is it?
Well, they pounded. They think the rear end is out of alignment. Dave said it's over the radio at 60 miles an hour. I can't get the thing even to operate, so they'll be coming back in for sure. I wanted to tell you, though, that Dave was having real trouble with the car since he qualified at 5th. They had not found the setup yesterday, and they didn't know what they'd have when they started the race. Of course, the contact didn't help.
Hey, a little bit of contact that time between Bill Elliott in the 9, Rusty Wallace in the deuce, and here goes Tony Stewart on the outside. Tony making a brave move on the outside of Mike Skinner.
Nobody's venturing below that first broken white line, though, which was the old bottom of the racetrack.
Huh?
Rudd is.
He's going back up in the racetrack now.
This is for 3rd place, Tony Stewart. The number 3 spot. Here comes Ricky Craven in that 32 underneath Rudd. Matt?
Well, Alan is currently running in the 6th position, trying to make a run on the 28. Ricky came on the radio under that caution and told his crew chief there is no grip on the bottom on the racetrack. The car is moving around a lot, and I like it that there's no grip on the bottom at this juncture.
I'll tell you what, there we see Jeremy Mayfield in 19 on the inside of Bobby Hamilton. Here comes Sterling Marlin. And in practice yesterday, the 55 car was the fastest car. Right now, he has lost a couple of spots.
Hamilton started 10th. Picked up a couple on the break. Now, contact there.
Contact between Jeff Gordon and the 15. Michael came off turn 2, got the car just a little bit sideways as he corrected. I think he just touched the 24 in the right fender, right quarter panel.
Set on countdown to green, you thought we might see some fenders wrinkled up today.
I think we're going to see more before this day's over.
We just got started and we've wrinkled a few.
But so far, I've been impressed. These guys have been able to pass. They can't do it on the bottom of the racetrack where we thought they could, but it has opened up the racetrack just a little bit. We'll see Jimmy Johnson trying to get down on the inside, make a pass.
Jeffrey Bodine has taken the 66 car to the garage. Planned exit. They're just going to run a couple of laps to try to fill out the starting field, and they'll park it on the trailer. This is Johnson and Harvick and Steve Park there racing from 13th, 14th, and 15th.
The 29 car started way back to 24th, up to 14th. That winning last week must have gone to his head, huh?
He's pretty happy guy when I talked to him in the garage on Friday.
We talked about the Dale Jarrett, Bobby Labonte, Elliott Sadler cars. Let's see. Hey, we see the 21 has been able to get by Jarrett, so Elliott Sadler is moving forward. He's up to 27. after starting back in the 38th position. Wow. DJ, the 88 car, started 33rd, so he's moved up 5 or 6 spots. But Elliott, about to lose a spot now. Marty, what's the 88 crew saying? What's Tom the guy saying?
Well, this is kind of their MO here at the New Hampshire International Speedway, Benny. They start very slow at the beginning of a run, but when they get, the longer the run goes, they get terrific. So I think you're going to see Dale Jarrett come on the longer he runs. They never put on tires in happy hour yesterday. They stayed on those old tires. Their fastest lap all weekend was the last lap they turned in happy hour.
Let's check 4th place. Mike Skinner in the 4, Ricky Craven in the 32, Ricky Rudd in the 28. Locked up for that.
And that's what the racetrack hoped, that coming off the corners, these guys could turn under the car in front of them and use the new lane down there to make a pass. Ricky Craven tried at that time on Skinner, did not work for him.
Just underway here in Loudon, New Hampshire with the New England 300 presented by Stacker 2. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
NASCAR on TNT is at the New England 300 presented by Stacker 2 at the New Hampshire International Speedway in Loudon. We are under caution. Rusty Wallace continues to lead. Tony Stewart has jumped into the 2nd spot, followed by Elliott, Skinner, and then Ricky Rudd, who has moved up to 5th. Under caution for a spin by Jimmy Spencer. He is right of the car and continued, but we're under caution. Again, at the front of the field, Rusty Wallace in the car that he ran at Martinsville. And Benny, when these guys get a good car, they really love it. But these guys at the back of the field are going to come now down pit road. Remember, fuel mileage is really important at this track. This track has a reputation for early cautions and then a lot of green flag racing. Mark Martin comes and goes. Everybody else, a lot of guys just getting fuel, some taking tires. To Dave Burns.
4-time winner Jeff Burton comes in for an early pit stop. They're going to make a chassis adjustment to that car and put on 4 tires, fill it full of fuel, and send Jeff back out. Marty.
And Dale Jarrett came in, Dave. They had made some progress up to the 27th position after they started back in 33rd. The car just a little bit tight for DJ. They did put on tires. They made no adjustments, however, on the 88 Ford.
Let's check out what happened to Jimmy Spencer that brought out the caution. He was coming off turn 2 and had a little problem.
There, oh, man, he's sideways back in the middle of the corner. He did some serious steering, but he never could quite get caught up. And around he goes, man, he nails the gas, trying to make the thing do a 360. Finally says, whoops, I better try to stop this thing. And slams on the brakes, and roof flaps come up, and try to keep the car on the ground, and the fence is coming, and...
but he doesn't hit anything.
Everything's okay.
Yep. And his heart goes, ka-choo, ka-choo, ka-choo. Check out our Wendy's race menu. Mr. Spencer is back on track after a visit to the pit lane. What's upcoming? As we continue our coverage of the race for the championship, the big 2.5-mile Pocono Triangle next Sunday. That's always a fun one.
And then the week after that, the next 2.5-mile
rectangle
in Indianapolis Motor Speedway, then the road course.
Then the 2.5-mile road course.
Exactly. So 3 straight 2.5-mile racetracks. And then Michigan, the 2-mile.
We got a great variety coming up on TNT and NBC. Last night, NASCAR Busch Series raced in St. Louis. Greg Biffle got the win for Jack Roush. His pit crew got him the win. Basically, they beat Ron Hornaday's team off pit road on a final set of green flag stops. Padded Biffle's lead in the Busch Series championship just a little bit. Busch Series out at Pikes Peak Raceway near Colorado Springs next Saturday. That one's on NBC, Saturday afternoon.
All right, we're back to green flag racing as the Rusty Wallace, the leader, takes the green, but Tony Stewart in 2nd spot has moved up right behind him. And you know, these pit stops did not surprise me. By the way, welcome, Wally. Good to see you on TV last night.
Oh, thank you, Benny. It was a lot of fun, and you guys could have had a ride for me, though, after I got out of pace car. Oh, well, took a little while to get over here.
But you know, the pit stops does not surprise me because these cars cannot run quite 100 miles. 95, 96 miles. They were going to have to make an extra pit stop. They did it in 19 miles. Now they can go the rest of the way on 2 stops. The teams that stopped, if this thing for some reason should go green flag the rest of the way.
Nah.
No.
not after what we've seen so far.
Well, wishful thinking. Skinner losing a couple more spots.
Ricky Rudd by. Here comes Ricky Craven, Jeremy Mayfield.
Well, talked to Mike this morning, and their car was a little bit tight. They tried to change some springs in the front. BP, they actually went up on the springs because they thought the car was too soft in the front, and the car was rolling over.
Oh, little contact there. Mayfield's gotten wrinkled up. Who hit him?
I don't know if it's going to be more contact. These boys aren't a little more careful. And look at, we see Sterling Marlin trying to get alongside Jeff Gordon. He's got that position.
It was pretty slight because...
Oh, did he push up the racetrack?
That was the old slide jump. It's like you're doing a dirt track. And I think that's what we see a lot today, trying to pull off those slide jumps.
This is 7th place on back. Here's another look. Mayfield.
Jeremy got loose.
And Sterling got him.
Once he got loose, yeah, Sterling got in the back of him.
Didn't see any damage on the 40 car, though. Championship leader, that would be important, but I didn't see anything there.
Oh, smoker!
Jimmy Johnson.
Looks like he locked up the brakes getting down in the corner.
This is Johnson and Kevin Harvick back for 14th and 15th.
They have too much front brake in that car. He's going to have to dial a little bit to the rear. And you ought to lock the fronts up. Get man.
Kurt Busch, the 97 car, making a move forward.
Started back in 23rd. He's up to 16th, BP. And Dale Jr. starting to move forward also. Jr. started in, well, he's not starting to move forward. He's rocking forward. Started 28th. He's up to 13th.
And I'll tell you what, as soon as he can get underneath that 10 car, he's going to take another spot. Here he goes. Yep. Did not quite get the run off turn 2 that he wanted.
So back to a lap or two ago, Jimmy Johnson barreling off into turn number 3, and all that smoke we saw.
Yeah, he got a little too deep, didn't he, Wally?
A lot of smoke.
Hey, Dave, what happened to 48? Just locked up the brakes?
Well, not a surprising radio transmission following that lockup. Just be smooth and put the brake bands on.
Trouble in turn 1, Dave. Joe Nemechek. Caution's out.
Is he going to get it started?
Better hurry.
There comes the leader.
And no.
Oh, he's got a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why.
Wow.
He's got it started.
Serious damage on the left rear.
Cars don't work real well on 3 tires only.
I don't think even if he gets started, he's going to go anywhere.
Third caution of the race already, just 30 laps in. The first one for Dave Blaney, spinning, racing for 3rd at lap 3. Then Jimmy Spencer spinning on the backstretch at lap number 20. Now another 10 laps later. Big trouble here for Lakeland, Florida native Joe Nemechek.
I wish I had been wrong.
Yeah, when you said that we were going to wrinkle a lot of fenders up?
Yeah, wish I'd been wrong.
And we'll see how it plays out. We're just underway here in New Hampshire. Rusty Wallace is your leader. These races are always like a carnival. We had the on-stage entertainment, too, out before the race. This is the TNT Pepsi stage. Is that Marty?
No.
Strong resemblance to Marty.
You know, this guy is doing all this exercise. I saw him in the workout room in the hotel last night. After doing this for a few hours, I can't imagine going on an elliptical and doing more work.
There you have it. If he was in the workout room, it's not Marty.
Yeah, okay. That's simple enough. All right, let's try this again, shall we? We've had 3 cautions in 30 laps. See how many laps we get to run this time.
Jeff Gordon taking a look on the inside of Skinner. Look out, boys. Careful now.
Mike didn't want to give him that room.
And he still hasn't.
Here comes Tony Stewart, going to try Rusty Wallace for the lead. What's that all about, Rusty?
That's called mirror driving.
It's kind of blocking, yeah.
But that's the key. If you can get through the center of the corner really good and at least have a fender on the guy getting into the corner, you could outbrake him, go a little bit deeper, and that's where you're going to pull out the pass, but you got to get beside him. It looks like Tony's working pretty good there through the center. Rusty's getting off a little bit better.
Tony Stewart, very envious record here in New Hampshire. 5 top 10 finishes and 6 Winston Cup tries here, and won this race a couple of years ago in 2000. Running well, starting in the 12th spot, and he's up to second fairly quickly.
Well, this has got a racetrack that you would think that Tony Stewart would run well on, because at Homestead, remember how he used to run, well, does run so well there.
Oh, something's got a problem there.
Elliott's car off the pace. Something broke. No. Running third, and he almost stacked the pack up behind him. Matt?
Alan, he came on the radio. Mike Ford said, Bill, what's the problem? He said, it just quit running. It just quit running.
Well, try the ignition box. Try something.
He is.
He is.
Those hands are flying in there.
But nothing's working, right?
Nothing is working. And you know when it blows. I mean, then you hear that big rumble, that vibration, and
well, let's see if he goes to the garage or if he goes to his pit box as the leaders come by to overtake Bill Elliott. He's going to go by the garage, Matt. Looks like he's coming down to the pit stall.
Well, Alan, in further conversation of Mike Ford, he says he has tried the backup ignition box. The car does turn over, but it will not fire. He did try the backup box, he said, but it just will not fire. They're going to try to bring it down to his pit stall and see maybe something they can find that's amiss. But right now, a tough break for the Poster. Remember, he did win at Homestead, although a different racetrack, still a similar flat track. They're hoping for a good run today. They've tried everything, Bill says.
I'll tell you what, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car just made a very impressive move down in 3 and 4. He went in on the racetrack behind the 55 car, moved down on that low part of the track and passed him.
That was the 9th spot he picked up, and Kurt Busch is going to try and do a little imitation move there, just like he saw the guy in front of him, Junior, do.
Talked to Jimmy Fennig just before the race, and they were pretty happy with their car. And the thing I liked about their cars, when I walked up the grid, their car didn't have as much tape on the front as the other cars did. So that means Jimmy's got this car working really good without that tape, which means a lot of these guys, I think, are going to start taking the tape off the front to get more air to their coolers and their brakes. So they're not relying on that downforce to get through the center.
And talking to Mike Skinner and the crew this morning, Chris Carey and the crew, that's exactly what happened to them in the 4 car. Qualified on the outside pole, but when they took the tape off to put it under race conditions, all of a sudden they lost the handle and have really been struggling trying to find it again.
By the way, when Skinner led earlier, I said, when's the last time he led a race? He led one lap at Texas back in April.
There you go.
Joe Nemechek is in the garage with Marty.
Well, Joe, we saw you pointing at someone to think. Who are you pointing at, first of all?
I think it was Jeff Green, just a little impatience there. We were a little bit loose there on, we put 2 tires on and getting down the corner, all of a sudden I got hit in the back end around I went. And, you can't do anything about it. Just impatience, I hate it for UAW and Delphi, all these guys. They're working hard, and we thought we had a pretty good car. Just, you can't end up in the fence.
Glad to see you're okay. See it poking up.
And that's the thing, like Joe said there, when you get hit getting into the corner, BP, there's nothing you're going to do about it. You can save a car if you get hit in the center or coming off, but when you're going in, that car is just on the verge of breaking loose anyway. You're just along for the ride.
It's kind of like losing control on ice. If you do it on brakes, there's nothing you can do. If you on the throttle, you've got some kind of hope.
Boy, Dale Jr.'s flying.
Oh, he is. He is really, really fast.
Just past Jeff Gordon to move up to 7th. He's working Mike Skinner over for 6th.
And right here's what we were talking about earlier. See how he gets underneath him. Now he can run side by side, or at least have a fender on him down the straightaway. But Mike won't be able to keep him down there. You just saw Mike point. He put his hand out the window, pointed to the left, which means go ahead. You can have it, which was really a smart move because Mike could have lost a lot more positions if he tried running side by side through there.
It's mentioned that Kirk Shelmerdine has gone to the garage and retired his car from today, and Morgan Shepherd has also just taken his car back to the garage area.
All right. While you watch the miles per hour, I'll watch the RPM. How's that?
Okay.
I'll tell you what, you got the red hand. They'll watch everything for us. Look at this. 9,200 RPMs. Is that how much?
156 mile an hour.
Wow. down to a low of 5,600. And actually, this straightaway, they tell me, is a little bit faster.
Well, we'll see here.
You'll see 87, 89, 91, almost 9,200 down that one.
155 there. They're pretty even. But very fast for a 1 mile track with little banking. Jeff Gordon, 8th place. Jeremy Mayfield, 9th, racing it out there.
You can see Jeremy had a fender on him, but just couldn't pull out of the hole to keep him beside him.
While we watch this, let's update you. The word from pit road is that Jeremy's teammate Bill Elliott, they're changing a carburetor on that car to see if they can get it fired up. He's still sitting there losing time. 8 laps down now. So tough luck for today's pole sitter Elliott, as he has got troubles early. Rusty Wallace is your leader. Tony Stewart, Ricky Rudd, Ricky Craven, and Sterling Marlin, the championship leader, round out the top 5.
Stacker 2 presents the New England 300 on TNT. Today's race is brought to you by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Burn fat, crush cravings, and supercharge your energy. By Team Monte Carlo, the cars more champions depend on. Chevy will be there. By Walmart, always low prices, always. And by Touchstone Pictures, signs coming to theaters everywhere August 2nd.
Rusty Wallace leads the New England 300, presented by Stacker 2. Tony Stewart just a couple of car lengths behind him. We're at lap 54 now. Had 3 caution flags in the early going. Dave Blaney, Jimmy Spencer, and Joe Nemechek, the drivers all involved in spins. Bill Elliott's back on track. 13 laps down. He's back in 40th place. But is back running once again, today's pole sitter. All right, let's make our singular call to the pits. We'll dial up old Mr. Weber here. What do you got for us, Bill?
Well, following the race leader, Rusty Wallace, as we take you through the field. Rusty's car is just a little bit loose on entry. He wants to make an air pressure adjustment to the right rear and the left front tire, and possibly a wedge adjustment as well. Clear sailing in front of Rusty, but right behind him is Tony Stewart, Matt.
And Bill, Tony Stewart has one IRL win here on the Magic Mile and one Winston Cup victory, trying for a second this afternoon. Much like the final practice session on Saturday, Tony's race car is loose on entry, not bad in the middle, and pretty decent, he says, up off the corner. He's only 157 markers out of first. They're trying, though, to gain back some consistency. Some DNFs earlier in the year have dropped them back to 15 points, but they feel like this is going to be an important stretch for them. Now, Ricky Rudd is back in the 3rd position. Remember, he won back at Sonoma, but they've made a lot of headlines this year for all the wrong reasons. The team, the focus of what's going to happen to this race team next year, they've had to try to put the uncertainty about who will be behind the wheel out of their minds and just focus on winning and gaining back some consistency in top 5s that could start here today.
Money issues have been settled a month and a half ago. There really never was money issues really to speak of. Where the issue is I want to make sure that I want Robert to put some assurances that we're going to have the same team as we've got now as we do for next year. This is a great race team. This Haviland team it can win at any given time, and I just want assurances that our guys don't get moved over to a 3rd team. I want to keep this group together.
Caution's out. It looks like Elliott Sadler spun and kept going and didn't hit anything, but the caution is out for 4th time in the race.
Well, there goes Elliott around the racetrack. And you're right. If he spun, he definitely kept on going.
I believe it was up in turn 4 where he looped around. And so yellow flag once again. Let's take a look at what happened from Elliott Sadler's perspective.
Well, okay, there we see him on the outside of Robbie Gordon. And you're right. He does a 360. Steve Grissom goes by.
Whoa.
Brett Bodine takes evasive action on board with it. Listen.
That was the one that almost got him.
Hey, remember last week, Discover Card Countdown to the Green from Chicago? I think we ought to have the Joey Chitwood Award.
Yeah.
There you go. Flying 360.
Dave knows what that feels about.
Yes, he does. And Sadler has resumed in 37th place, last car on the lead lap.
It's going to be interesting to see. I can't see how Rusty and these other cars can stay out with a chance to pit Well, here they all come.
Question, will Mark Martin, who pitted on the first caution, come in this time?
Mark's in.
Marty?
An amazing run for Dale Earnhardt Jr., guys. There's an open pit behind him now because Joe Nemechek's out of the race. Started 28 up to 5th. No changes. 4 tires. Bill Weber.
Rusty Wallace wanted a pound of air pressure out of the right rear of the left front. In turn 3, he told him put the air back in the right rear, just change the left front. 4 tires and fuel. His car was a little loose, Matt.
Tony Stewart and Ricky Rutter pitted side by side. Stewart a little free on entry. They're going to try to shuffle the air pressure to fix his race car. He's down and away. The 28 is blocked in by the 24. He loses some positions off pit road. An air pressure adjustment for Ricky Rutter, both outside tires. Dave.
Sterling Marlin's crew changed 4 tires and raised the track bar. He was a little bit tight coming off the corner. It was a good stop. He got off pit road cleanly.
Boy, how many spots did Jeff Gordon lose? About 20 on pit road?
37. Well, he came down pit road 6th. BP, we'll see where he came back out. Let's check the camera at the end of pit road and see how they came out. What a rush that pit stop was. 37 lead lap cars all in there at once.
Matt Kenseth, last week's Golden Benny Award winning team. And we see Jeff Burton, Kevin Harvick.
Now those are guys who stopped earlier. So these were their second stops. And probably did not take 4 tires there.
Oh, yeah.
We'll follow up on that after this commercial break. New leader here at New Hampshire is Brett Bodine, who has not pitted. Matt Kenseth was 21st when the caution came out. He's now the leader. Jeff Burton took fuel only. He's 2nd. Kevin Harvick is 3rd. And then the first of the guys who were the leaders before the caution, Tony Stewart, running in 4th. Kevin Harvick's team got 2 tires only. That's what got them up to 3rd.
See, Matt Kenseth there wiggling on the car. He didn't take tires, so he got a lot of debris on those hot tires, so he's trying to clean them off there. That's where you saw him wiggle right before he got into turn 3.
Here's Tony Stewart taking 3rd away from Kevin Harvick. Harvick must have some junk on his tires.
And this racetrack is bad about that. These cars leave a lot of rubber on the racetrack. You see a lot of buildup on the racetrack. The flat tracks are all like that. And you pick up a lot of that debris, Benny, and it takes a while to clean it off.
And look at Junior go by Tony Stewart and move into the, let's see, that's the 4th spot, 3rd spot. And he's hunting for Jeff Burton right now. Man, he's working. When I say working, I mean the chassis is really letting that car here to the racetrack.
And he's got a great race car is what he's got. There's the serial scoring on Dale Jr. Up ahead, Bill Elliott has gotten by Matt Kenseth. But remember, Elliott spent 13 laps on pit road earlier with that engine problem, so he just got one of them back, but he's way down in 39th spot. How about Dale Jr., Marty?
He's running pretty good, I would say, and the car had a slight push to start off with on that last run, guys, and we have a wreck on the racetrack. Robbie Gordon into the wall.
No, he didn't hit the wall. Something happened to the car, and he went up, looked like he was going to hit the wall, but he got just about the time he got to it, he steered away from it. We can see the right front tire still has Goodyear Eagle on it, so I think he just got pushed up out of the groove and got in that debris that you were talking about a moment ago, Wally, and couldn't steer it.
Last November's winner with problems here. Here's a look.
Let's see if there's any contact. No, he just gets up high and the car will not turn. He goes up, looks like he's going in the wall, but you know, just about the time he got there, it steered away from him.
2nd place, Dale Jr. still on the move. And through. He's going to wear him out if he gets out in front.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not seeing him have any of this aero push problem right now. The way he's diving underneath these race cars.
He's able to turn, and we see Warren Burton with the same problem down in 3 and 4, it looks like.
Now, let's talk about this track. There was construction done to it that we documented in Countdown to Green. Some of the drivers in the Truck Series race yesterday were talking about sealer. This racetrack was not sealed. It's not sealer that's coming up and giving them fits, nor is it a problem with the paving.
They repaved the racetrack. They completely rebuilt the racetrack. These corners that we see The black part we see, all that is brand new. That's been rebuilt and repaved. If anything, it's just debris off the tires that's giving them a problem.
They run a lot of different classes of race cars in a race weekend here at New Hampshire. So you get the NASCAR Federal Light Modifieds, the NASCAR Busch North cars, yesterday the Craftsman trucks, plus the Winston Cup cars all running here. And all of those different kinds of rubber mixing together kind of get scrubbed back up onto the racetrack and can make for some really slick conditions as the race goes on.
I saw a puff of smoke off of Mike Skinner's car coming off of turn 2, and he may have a maybe a left flat. No, it'd be worse than a flat tire.
Come down there and let you look at it, but it blew up.
Oh no!
That's too bad.
Puff of smoke meant engine smoke, huh?
I was hoping it was a tire, not the motor.
Yeah,
here we go for the race lead. Junior underneath Matt Kenseth. Couldn't make that one stick.
Matt's car gets better and better the longer he runs on these tires, Wally. He told Robbie Reiser on the restarts, I'm not going to be that good. You're going to have to give me a few laps before these tires will come in. Again, he just did the gas and go for track positions. He's been in 3 separate wrecks already today, but he's leading the race.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot, Bill, this year, that these guys, really, these tires are very consistent. Take a look at maybe what happened to Mike Skinner. I just caught him out of the corner of my eye when they coming out of turn 2, and I saw a puff of smoke. Here you see Jimmy Johnson on the inside of Mike, and that was right there tire smoke, because Jimmy was leaning on Mike a little bit, but must have blew the motor at the exact same time.
Yeah, that's definitely that right front tire rubbing the quarter panel on the 4 car, but you're right. About that time, oh, the leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the lead. To the delight of 101,000 people. Well, maybe not 101,000.
Yeah, there's a few Ricky Craven fans.
Yeah, that's right.
Earnhardt Jr., 5th different driver to lead the race. Rusty Wallace has led 59 laps. Matt Kenseth was out in front for a dozen. Brett Bodine and Mike Skinner have also led a lap apiece. Trouble front stretch. Casey Atwood and John Andretti.
Those 2 cars look like they're welded together as I look down on them. Okay, Andretti is moving.
Oh, get out of the way.
Don't race to the yellow now.
Look at this, right in front of the leader.
Bill Elliott gets a lap back, and okay, now Casey, you can move. Yikes, but he has lost a lap. John Andretti, the 43 Cheerios car, did not lose a lap. But some pretty serious damage as the 7 car looks like.
Yeah, that's pretty serious.
Yes, it is. Both right side tires are flat.
It's been a lousy weekend for John Andretti. Fastest car in Friday practice, got up out of the groove in his qualifying lap.
A lot of damage in the left front as well. And that's why.
I see.
Turned sideways right in front of John Andretti, and they kind of got hooked together.
Nice job, Brett Bodine and Ward Burton to get stopped.
Let's see if we can. Yeah. So Andretti's got to have some pretty serious damage to his car, because he made pretty good damage, that left, pretty good contact with that left front on Casey Atwood's car.
Wow. John Andretti and Casey Atwood bring out caution number 5. Here's our Koch family of drivers update. Pretty good day for a lot of them so far.
You see 3rd, 4th, 5th, 9th, 14th. Kyle Petty, great run for him, and Dale Jarrett 19th. He's moved up from 33rd to 19th.
And a couple of others have had their struggles. Bill Elliott, in particular, had that problem that kept him on pit road. He's now 12 laps down, back in 38th place. We'll keep an eye on this track surface issue. What actually is going on with the racetrack has been debated back and forth all weekend.
Normally, it's just it's just rubber and debris. Normally, it's not the racetrack or the asphalt actually coming up. But that's a problem. It does turn into a one-groove racetrack because of all the debris right outside the groove.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it and monitor as the race progresses. Front 4 clear the lap traffic off the restart. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Matt Kenseth, Jeff Burton, and Tony Stewart are those drivers. Then you've got Kevin Harvick in 5th, Rusty Wallace 6th, Sterling Marlin 7th, Ricky Craven, Ricky Rudd, and Jeremy Mayfield making up the rest of the top 10.
And you know, this brand new pavement will grind the rubber off tires quicker than old pavement.
Down on this 1 mile track from our U.S. Army Sky Camp, courtesy of the United States Army and Army of One.
Yeah, Benny, as the race goes on, you'll see the racetrack actually where they're running becomes lighter. And it's pulling that out of the track.
You know, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Tony Eury mentioned that they haven't been that great their last few times here. A 9th place finish here last July is his only New Hampshire finish, better than 21st in 5 career Winston Cup races.
See, 24 of Jeff Gordon and Michael Walter trying to work their way back to the front. That's a battle back for the 19th position.
Michael started in 16th, so he's kind of on station where he's been most of the day.
Battle for 3rd. Tony Stewart trying to get in that position off turn 4. Could not quite get it. Jeff Burton, the 99, maintains. Oh, Tony just drives up under the back bumper of the Sitco car.
Hey, the front of his car is working really good. If he can do that, he's not sliding the nose in traffic. Boy, that's important here at Loudon.
Jeff Burton came up here and ran the NASCAR Busch Series race on Mother's Day weekend, looking for some information that might help him when he came back here. Burton's got 4 wins here in New Hampshire, but kind of struggled here the last couple of times.
Well, he got a tough break when he came up here for the Busch race. He blew up on the 4th lap, so all he able to run was the practice. Hey, Dave, what's happening with the 99? They got problems?
Well, Benny, I was just going to tell you that that race that they ran here and dropped out early, as you said, they still got valuable information. In fact, when they didn't do well after qualifying here this weekend, they went back to the setups they got there. So even though they dropped out of the race early, they got lots of practice in that Busch race.
See Kevin Harvick over in turn 2?
Yeah, he's trying that apron. Like, I guess that wouldn't be called the apron now, would it?
Well, no, he was below the new yellow line.
Okay, and that was the apron.
You were right. He's down on the apron.
I think we'll call it the infield. There you go.
There you go.
Rusty Wallace following him, saying, hey, I'll try that too.
Hey, if you can find some grip, it doesn't matter. Wherever you can get in the car, you're looking for grip right now. That's why these guys are trying to drop the cars down below that yellow line. They think, well, maybe some more traction down there.
This is 5th and 6th place we're looking at, and you see the gap up to leader Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And that's what happens here when you're running a race. You can't work the high line. You have to keep moving down because of all the marbles and debris in the high line. You start moving down lower and lower. Try to get that car to work.
I talked at the very top of the show about the cars to watch. Could they work their way to the front? Dale Jarrett, there he goes by Mark Martin. Wow, just blew by him. That's for the 17th position, so he is continuing forward, and we just saw him pass Mark. Bobby Labonte is currently 23rd, and Elliott Sadler is 27th, despite his spin off turn 4.
Rusty trying that low line into the corner to see if he can get a spot on Harvick. Not so fast.
Yeah, usually when you're down on the bottom, trying to come off the corner on the bottom, just bind the car up a little bit. Just don't have what you need to maintain the same with the car you're trying to pass. So you really got to get beside them. As you're getting into the corner, you try to run with them down the straightaway side by side.
Third of the way in is approaching quickly in the New England 300, presented by Stacker 2. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has made a charge up through the field from 28th starting spot to lead.
The New Hampshire International Speedway, we've run 93 laps. It's Dale Earnhardt Jr. continuing to lead. We've had a few cautions, some interesting pit strategy, but the race roars along. Let's take you through the field and begin with the race leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. running very well out on the racetrack. Very consistent laps. He's taking a different line. He'll try to go into the corner just a little bit high as he can get away with. And in the middle, he's using the go slower to go fast theory. He's almost stopping in the middle of the corner. He says it makes him go faster off the corner. To Bill Weber.
Well, it's been an interesting day for Matt Kenseth. We talked to his crew chief, Robbie Reiser. He's been involved in a couple of on-track incidents. Nothing by his own fault, just wrong place, right time. However, right now, he's in a pretty good spot, trying to chase down the 8 car, Matt's car. Not quite as good when he's behind the 8 as it is when he's in front. Matt?
Bill, Tony Stewart trying to chase down the 17. Last year, 2 runs here, 2 fifth-place finishes, trying for another today. You heard Greg Zipadelli say the car was loose at the beginning of a run, but it would slowly get to him. You can see on the racetrack, the 20 car was very stout up the corner. That's exactly what Tony said. The car is stout up the corner, Dave.
Matt, we heard from crew chief Frankie Stoddard that he's not happy with the car because he's not in the lead yet. Jeff reported in about lap 75 that he was loose in and tight in the center of the corner. Now, Kevin Harvick wants to win this week, so his car owner, Richard Childress, can get victory lane right. Problem 1, Richard wanted more burnouts, but Kevin ran out of fuel. Problem 2, he wanted to get doused with orange juice, but it ruined his cell phone. Problem 3, he lost his favorite space pen, popping the champagne cork, because it wouldn't work either. Bill.
Rusty Wallace led a number of laps here early in the race. After pit stops, came out of the lead. He got mired back in traffic. His car not really as good back there. Took him forever to get around Sterling Marlin. Rusty, like a number of drivers, according to his crew, it takes forever for these tires to come in after a caution period. Burns?
However, points leader Sterling Marlin wants his car to be looser. It's really tight right now. They did come in on lap 60 and change 4 tires and make a track bar adjustment, but it's still a bit tight for Marlin right now. Matt?
Okay, Ricky Craven runs in the 8th position. The Mainer had one radio problem. They had to switch to the backup radio. Under their pit stop, they made an air pressure adjustment in both right side tires. But Ricky Craven will tell you, running here at New Hampshire is special. He has one top 5 finish. He says, like any athlete, when you go to your home stadium, you have an advantage. Psychologically, he has one here.
I think there's a big advantage psychologically for me when I walk out through the gate onto pit road, and regardless of what time of day it is, practice, qualifying, or the beginning of the event, I get a great response from the crowd, a welcome home type of cheer, and psychologically that's worth its weight in gold.
Now, Mike Beam, his crew chief, will tell you this morning they made a number of changes. They couldn't count how many. They also made a gear change. They're turning a lot of RPMs, Dave, but a lot of other teams are turning tons of RPMs here, too.
Matt, Kurt Busch's car is great today. He currently runs 9th. They tested at a track they never race on, and that kept themselves from comparing themselves to anybody else. They just worked on getting their car fast and getting their car handling well at the Milwaukee Mile. Matt?
Now, Ricky Rudd runs in the 10th position. Remember, we showed you on pit road a very close call with a 24 car. He thought he had damaged the left front fender. They looked at it under the caution, and it turned out to be okay. He's on sticker tires right now. He said the car was extremely slippery, but his crew chief, Michael Fatback McSwain, said, give it some time. It will come to you. And 10 laps to go, that's exactly what Ricky said. The car is now coming in very nicely.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. continues to lead. No change up front. He's out from Matt Kenseth by 1.14 seconds. Jr. taking the lead at lap 74. Marty?
A good run for Jeremy Mayfield up in the 11th position. He had the contact on the racetrack earlier. That doesn't seem to be bothering him at all. He's just a little bit loose right now, but they think that the car will tighten up the longer he runs. In Jeremy's last 7 races, he has had 5 finishes of 34th or worse. The motto today, just finish, baby. Jimmy Spencer started 34th. He's up to 12th. He took 2 tires. It is working very well for Spencer out on the racetrack right now. He is very happy with the car. They expect no changes the next time they come in. How about the run for Stacy Compton? Yes, that was the same Stacy Compton in the Busch Series race last night in St. Louis. Got to bed at 3 a.m. He's doing just fine. 4 tires on that last stop, or rather 2 tires on that last stop. A little bit tight, and then he gets a little bit looser the longer he runs. And behind him, the great run for Kyle Petty. Started 37th. He is up to 14th. We told you the Petty cars are good. They have had no top 10s this year on this 45 team. They're hoping they're for their first one today. Dave.
Marty, Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, Kyle's into the wall.
And he just got out of the groove like we've seen, Benny. And as soon as you get out of the groove, it's just like hitting ice.
Caution flag is out.
And that's exactly what happened. He got outside the groove about 2 feet, and it would not turn at all.
Man, what a bad break. Just finished saying what a great run he was having. 6th caution flag of the race, just past 1/3 distance. It looks like you have no margin for error.
Well, and there's nothing you can do when you get in it. You just get off the throttle. You can't hit the brake, because you hit the brake, that'll make it worse. So you're just kind of backpedaling a little bit. We'll watch again what happens to Kyle. But there's just nothing the driver can do except wait it out. Here he gets high, he gets up in those marbles. Now he's just getting off the throttle. He's trying to turn it, but there's just no way. When those hot Goodyears get all that dirt and rubber on it, you're along for the ride.
One thing we know, with track conditions being what they are, track position is king. For Rusty Wallace to take 2 tires,
It's track position is king.
You know it's serious. Wallace and Stewart here racing for second behind Jerry Nadeau.
Oh, here goes Stewart. He's on the inside. Is Rusty out of the groove? Looks like he might have been for a little bit. Losing 1, 2, maybe 3 spots.
He's going to lose, I think, more than 3.
Oh, they're ganging up on the inside. He said, my teammate let me in. Yeah, right. Wrong.
Ooh, just having to squeeze that gas so gently.
And Rusty looks like he needed to shift gears off turn 4. He's bogged down so much.
Schrader goes by.
Uh-oh, Rusty is above that white line. Those
Got a
white
flat.
dots.
He's got a flat.
Oh, I got you, Bill. That's what his problem is, the flat tire.
Rusty Wallace led 59 laps earlier in this one.
Sometimes that's how it feels. When you get in this marbles, it feels like you have a flat tire.
And he can't get to the inside. He wants to come down pit road, but nobody's going to let him in.
Yeah, working with his spotter to try and get in there. Couldn't get inside. Thinks it's the left front.
Left front, you said, Bill?
That's what he believes it is.
Okay.
But he can't stay low. The spotter said stay low. He can't stay low.
Get forward, Rusty.
He's got to get an opening first. All right, he's clear of the pack now.
Oh, yeah, after 36 cars or 40 cars past him.
Yeah, and by making the green flag
Outside
stop.
cars, guys, at the left side.
All right, so Wallace in here.
Take a look at her. Look at the right side. Is it okay? Oh, the right side's okay? Gotta forget a yellow. Tires, guys. 4 tires.
That's how it works with these guys. You almost sometimes have to wait to the last second to make the decision. This is going to be critical for Rusty for this race to stay green, but this is a heartbreak for a guy who still has his sights set on the championship and does not have a win this season, just 1 top 5. They're on their way and very disappointed.
You know, that just goes to show you when everything falls apart, it really falls apart. These guys can do 12, 13-second pit stops, but it was 18 and a half because they just were not ready, were not coordinated to exactly what they were going to do.
And your emotion is gone. I mean, you're more mad than anything else. Those good pit stops, a lot of that's adrenaline, and that goes out the window when you're changing tires under green.
Jerry Nadeau is the leader, driving the 10 cars, subbing for Johnny Benson. Did not pit under that last caution. He did stop back at lap 76. And most of the front runners did. Matt Kenseth has passed Tony Stewart for second. So Matt is the closest pursuer, and there's the gap from Nadeau back to Kenseth.
And right now, the 97 car, Kurt Busch, is on the inside of Tony Stewart, and he is followed closely by Ryan Newman, and smoke coming back down. He does not want above that white line, those dotted lines. 3 wide, no, Ryan wisely backs off.
And you're right, Benny. Tony did not want to get moved up above that line.
Oh, more contact. More contact. Oh, and now there goes Kurt Busch. He's in Never Never Land.
Yeehaw!
Man, oh, man.
That's what he's saying.
Wow. Slippery, tricky track conditions at New Hampshire today. It's going to be survival of the fittest, that's for sure. Under caution at New Hampshire, Tony Stewart's in trouble.
Another one bites dust, same exact thing as everybody else.
Exactly like Kyle Petty. If we could have just drew a map of Kyle Petty, it would be exactly the same thing with Tony Stewart.
5th place driver in the championship. Was racing in the top 5. And off he went.
There we see the top 3, top 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And Tony Stewart has tried to drive the car back to the pits, but he would not drive properly, and he's in the dirt and angry.
Yeah.
victory probably was before the in the dirt thing, though.
Stewart, after having problems that included dropping out in the opening laps of the Daytona 500, clawed his way all the way back into the top 5 in points. Again,
we sound like a broken record here, but I'm telling you what, this groove is so narrow, and you get into those marbles with these hot tires, there's nothing you can do. And everybody seems to be hitting it about the same spot, Benny.
Yep. Let's see. Well, there's a black mark. Where's Kyle Petty's black mark? I think it's on this way. Right there's where Kyle hit the wall before. One more shot. All you got to do is get the right side outside those white dots. That white line, it will not turn. All right, who's on pit road? Who's going to stop?
So Tony out of his car and okay. Just the race leader, it looks like. Jerry Nadeau going to come in. And then some guys farther back in the pack. Dave?
And Alan, they of course are off sequence. They stayed out on the last round of pit stops because they only had 22 laps on their tires. Jerry's car running very well on old rubber, so no adjustments at this point. Matt Yoakum?
Well, Dave, the 24 car of Jeff Gordon, a 3-time New Hampshire winner, comes down pit road. They have been struggling all day. This car likes it out front, loves to eat in the clean air, but he has not been able to get the track position to find out how well this race car will run. Remember, last year he led 257 laps in this race car. They made an air pressure adjustment in the right rear on the previous stop. Air pressure this stop, Dave.
4 tires and fuel for Terry Labonte. The last adjustment they made, water for the driver through the window.
Next weekend, a lot of racing action on TNT and NBC. Starts with bug hole qualifying for Pocono Friday on TNT. The Busch Series race from Colorado Springs Saturday on NBC. And then the Winston Cup action from Pennsylvania next Sunday here on TNT. Bill?
Getting ready to go green here. Wally Matt Kenseth just told his spotter to tell those guys on the inside if they show him the courtesy to let him get down, he'll remember it as the race goes along.
And Bill, that is so true. I can't count the times I've done the same thing and said, guys, just give me a break here. The problem is these guys are going to be getting real close to each other, getting into the corner. There, I think Matt was probably going to let the two go. Now he's up in that high stub trying to get back down. But it's so important to have a little courtesy here because of the way the conditions are.
Rusty Wallace now on the tail end of the lead lap in 33rd spot after that stop for the cut right front tire we saw earlier. But can he stay there?
Oh, Hut Strickland up in that high lane was able to get the car back down. Did not make contact.
It's Matt Kenseth leading, Dale Earnhardt Jr. second, Ryan Newman third, and here's Kenseth putting pressure on Wallace to put him back a lap down.
And that's
oh, and Ryan Newman blows by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Man, oh man, it's like something happened to Junior's car.
Or he just decided that when Newman got the jump on him, he did not want to tread in that outside lane.
That could be. Maybe Newman just looked to the inside. Junior said, I'm not going high. Go ahead, big boy.
Yeah. And that's playing on everybody's mind right now. Believe me, there's going to be a lot more courtesy when they get down into turn 3. If there's a guy on the inside, you're not going to see these guys racing hard. They're going to just lift so they can get back behind that car and get down to the bottom of the racetrack.
By the way, Tony Stewart, when he left his race car inside of turns 1 and 2, as we watched Junior try to come back on Newman for second.
And Newman said, okay, go ahead, Junior, you got position.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's going to be a lot like Darlington, Benny, when you just give that guy the inside of the lane and get back tucked in so you can get down to the bottom.
Tony Stewart walked from his race car, bypassed the ambulance where he's supposed to take the trip to the care center, and went back into the driver-owner motorhome lot through the back entrance that's inside of turns 1 and 2. But his team is still working on his car back in the garage area. I believe he's shown up there now, Marty.
And no, actually he hasn't now. And you see Greg Ziffidelli talking to Coach Gibbs, and they are working on the car. You can see a lot of damage over here to the car, and fairly significant, obviously, to the right front. They don't know exactly what happened. Zippy, did Tony say anything? Did you get a chance to talk to him?
I mean, I don't know. It's frustrating to come here to a place that you love and that we ran good at, and I don't know. The place has got no grip. You can't race on it. The asphalt is coming up all over the place. I think we just got up a little bit out of the groove, but there is no groove. That's the frustrating part. Got in the junk and wrecked a perfectly good race car running in the top 5 all day. That's frustrating. There's nobody that loves this place any more than I do, but there's nobody that probably hates coming here as much as I do right now, just because it's It's not racing. I mean, you can't pass, you can't do anything. And now the racetrack's coming up. So I don't know what the answer is. I just know that it's frustrating. And, you know, you take a chance of hurting a driver like that, I mean, was up out of the groove or up in the second lane. And I don't know. It's just frustrating. You know what I mean? And what do you do?
And you don't think it was a contact with Kurt Busch then?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I didn't see, but I just gone by what the spotter said. They just got in there and the car took off. Kind of the same thing the 45 car happened to the 45 car. There's no grip out there. You're riding around on ice. And we will effort a word with Tony Stewart when he does come from his motorhome. If he does come back to the infield, they are working to get the car back out on the racetrack.
Can you just feel the frustration in Zippy's voice? And
well, you can see how aggravated Tony was when he walked in the car, and why shouldn't it be? You got a good race car, and actually the track had a lot to do with why it's revved, and that, you know, that's a problem here.
And this race, there's no racetrack on the circuit that's tried harder to make a great surface for these guys.
Absolutely. These guys have done everything they could do.
Looks like Ricky Rudd and Stacy Compton had a little run-in a couple of laps ago. Check it out here.
There we see Compton in the 14, and yes, they did make some contact for the rear bumper cover off the 28 car, half of it anyway. Well, it didn't tear it off, it's still hanging on.
And Ricky running back in 13th spot. Stacy Compton just behind him.
You know, they make plastic a lot stronger than they used to.
Hut Strickland rolling around Ken Schrader for 7th place.
Good run for Hut Strickland today.
One of those teams that took 2 tires on that last stop to get some track position. And Kevin Harvick, last race winner. Got a spot on Schrader there too. So that put Harvick to 8th. And Schrader back to 9th place.
Junior got by Rusty Wallace. The lap car of Rusty Wallace, I should say, and moves in right on the back bumper of Matt Kenseth. How many laps do you think it'll take Junior to get by? Can he get by? What do you think, Wally?
If Matt gets much higher than that, it won't take long.
Earnhardt Jr. is working so good right now. I'm going to give it about 6 or 7.
All right. Last lap, he was just a tick quicker than Kenseth.
Kenseth got those right sides higher just than that top white line in 1 and 2, but it didn't have the devastating effect that we've seen it on some guys down in 3 and 4.
It doesn't seem to be as bad in 1 and 2.
All right, Wally said it's going to take 6 or 7 laps for Junior to make this pass. So let's take a break here. We'll find out when we come back. How's that? You're on the spot now here, pal. Kenseth leads Earnhardt Jr.
146 laps on the board. Matt Kenseth having an outstanding run. And you didn't miss anything because Dale Earnhardt Jr. hasn't caught him, hasn't tried to pass him. Kenseth has won 3 races this year, 4 wins for his career, having an outstanding season in 2002 after that disappointing run in 2001. Fell a couple of spots to 10th place in the points, but really strong so far today. But he's got that 8 car in his mirror. And Wally, that always gets your attention, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially when I told everybody Earnhardt was going to pass him in 6 laps.
How many laps has it been? Are you counting?
Many is, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll bet he is.
Wally,
7.
You lose.
Alan couldn't count him because we know Alan doesn't do math.
Kurt Busch has got problems.
I think he may have went in the wall there.
Yeah, he's got some white walls on the side of that thing.
Left front tire is flat on Busch's car. Really flat.
Really flat.
Really flat.
He was running in 5th place
it's
at the
coming
time.
apart now.
Coming flatter.
So bad luck there for Paulie.
Oh, Matt's going to tear the fender up. He has to be careful by the time he gets back to the pits.
Too late. So Kurt Busch goes from 5th place to a lap down, just like that. And we come to the halfway point. There's his crew chief, Jimmy Fennig, calling out orders.
Now, will they change form? My guess is yes, they will. Boy, he's got 3 NASCAR officials there. Dave watching everything.
Yeah, you bet they're keeping an eye on him. They already made a chassis adjustment in the rear end. He's torn up the left front pretty bad. The right front from the earlier contact with Tony Stewart, they really didn't complain about at all. Now the guys all having to push the car up here because when the car settles on that left front, of course, they can't get the jack underneath. So they raise it. Now they lift it with the jack, and they will change the left side tires.
And for the lead, here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. by Matt Kenseth.
All right, how many laps was I off?
It was 9. You missed it 2 laps, Wally.
That's why I don't gamble.
What I thought was interesting about this, though, regardless of which one of these two are leading, they both got 4 tires on that stop, and they didn't have any trouble working their way through the guys that only got 2.
Now, those two, I think those 2 cars right now probably are the class of field.
That's kind of different than what we've seen at a lot of the races this year, where the tires are so durable that fresher tires haven't been much of an advantage. They took 4 tires and marched right to the front. Are their cars that much better than everybody, or are the tires actually a factor? And, you know, these guys that are planning on the 2 on these late stops?
I think Earnhardt's car is that good. I mean, we saw that earlier in the day. They probably adjusted to 17th, where now it is equally as good, but those cars have been strong all day.
And I think that they want to, all these cars up front, and even some guys in the back, they're changing 4 tires right now. There's going to be a point, and I don't know exactly when that point is, maybe lap 200, 210. They probably will just gas and go, or just right sides. Will be no more 4-tire stops. They're going to go for that track position. Ah, here goes Kenseth on the inside of Junior. Oh, yeah. Now, Junior, back off. Please don't go down the outside. Junior.
Right. Not where. And he backed off a lot there to get back down under, like we talked about.
Try the old cut around move.
But you're right, Benny. They're setting themselves up for that last pit stop.
Exactly.
Track position. I agree with you. If you can get tires on it now, now's the time to do it. Now, just so you guys know, a lot of guys down here on pit road that have tried the 2 tires, not many of them have been real happy with how the car is handled. So keep that in mind. It's been a kind of a motto down here. It's no tires or 4 tires, but 2 tires not getting the job done. You're going to have to sell your driver on it.
Hey, Bill, how about finding out for me tire wear? Can they run a couple hundred laps without wearing the tires out?
Well, you know, I wanted to show you Rusty's right front tire, Benny. He came in, did a 2-tire stop, then went out, and then came in and had the cut right front. They had changed right side tires. The wear seems to be good, but these guys are concerned with running over some stuff on the racetrack. And you know what, Bill? That's right. And what happens is when you got the pressures down, and it happened early for Rusty, when the pressures are down, that's the best chance you're going to get to cut a tire, especially if we do have rocks coming up from the racetrack. These are the tires they just took off, Rusty, when he came in with that cut right front. This is the right front. The cut's actually around the back. You can't see it because of the way these are stacked. But again, they had made the 2-tire change. They convinced Rusty 2 tires would be good. He went out and cut the right front. May have run over something on pit road or perhaps something on the racetrack. But some of these other guys are talking about 2 tires aren't getting it done. It's 4 or no, and then you go. Marty?
Well, Bill, the great run continues for Dale Earnhardt Jr. And you guys in the booth wondered earlier why Ryan Newman got around so easily. Well, for about 5 laps, Junior's tires don't come in. I just asked Tony Erie Sr., are you going to change 4 or none on the last stop? He said, I'm changing 4. Alan?
Troubles for Ricky Rudd. Is going to bring out the caution flag. Oil from Ricky Rudd's car. Yellow number 8 is on.
And the car looks like it's running. Like maybe it's an oil line or something that is
smoke in the front, so it's probably coming from the motor. How about it, Matt?
Well, they are going to hit pit road. Ricky said the gauges look good, Fatback. It must be an oil line loose or something, so they're going to hit pit road and take a look at it. And he says the engine is still running and the gauges look good.
Ricky Rudd 7th in points coming into this race.
Now we've got an outside groove. We got an outside groove that's suspect. Now he's all down the inside groove.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And NASCAR is very anxious for him to get that car off the racetrack and out of the groove. They have black flagged him. They've told him if he keeps on the racetrack another lap, they're going to stop scoring him.
Yeah, he's definitely put some oil down because he slipped in his own oil there coming out before that last time.
All right, pit stops. 142 laps to go. Second to last stops of the race, potentially.
Everybody will put 4 on, I would think.
Well,
and based on what you were talking about, now's the time to do it. I can answer that because Goodyear said 120 to 140 on the tires.
Okay, they got to change 4. Marty Snyder.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the middle of your screen. Tony Eury Sr. said we've got to chase the racetrack there a little bit. Just a little bit tight. Bill Snyder, the rear tire carrier, will make one round of wedge in. Bill Weber.
17 of Matt Kenseth at the top of your screen. This is 4 tires and fuel. They discussed about taking 2. Robbie Reiser sold them on 4.
Matt, at the bottom of your screen, Ryan Newman. They made a wedge adjustment. His car gets tighter and tighter as the run progresses. 4 tires, remember, back on lap 106, he took out 2 tires, a close call leading. He ran over the 18's air hose. Dave.
Jeff Burton had made a 4-tire stop, Matt, just a slight air pressure adjustment to fix a loose condition. The driver is running cool, and he rejected a pack of ice.
Jeff Green is going to come off pit road first. Then it's going to be Matt Kenseth, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Ryan Newman, and Hutch Strickland.
And we see Rudd back on the racetrack with no smoke. There we see our pit exit. Jeff Green goes by, Kenseth Jr., Ryan Newman.
Now here comes the group.
Great pit stop for those top 3 cars.
Look at that.
Hutch Strickland off in the next position.
Jeff Green, the one we'll want to follow up on and see if he got 2 or 4 tires. Some did not stop. Jerry Nadeau back in the lead by staying on the racetrack.
Stacker 2 presents the New England 300 on TNT. Today's race is brought to you by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Burn fat, crush cravings, and supercharge your energy. By Napa Auto Parts. Napa, we keep America running. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of NASCAR. And by Visa, the official card of NASCAR.
101,000 sold out New Hampshire International Speedway, watching what has been a very frustrating and tension-filled New England 300 for the drivers and teams. Let's check out our Pepsi race recap and show you what's happened on the day so far. 43 drivers went to the green just after 2 Eastern time with Bill Elliott and Mike Skinner on the front row. It only took a couple of laps for Trumbull to strike. Racing for third, Dave Blaney got turned around back into the wall in turn 3. Jimmy Spencer looping it around off turn number 2. He continued away without hitting anything. Then lap 29, Joe Nemechek got nipped by Jeff Green. Hard contact in turn 1, expressing his displeasure. Track conditions have started deteriorating. Bill Elliott, with problems on his car, dropped him a number of laps down after a mechanical problem. Then we saw a lot of this. Slipping and sliding. If you get a tire up out of the groove, you got problems. John Andretti and Casey Atwood crashing down the front stretch. Got Kyle Petty just getting a tire a foot out of the groove and blasting the outside wall. Rusty Wallace with a cut tire, dropping back in the pack. He went a couple of laps down. He's made them both up now. Tony Stewart running in the top 5, just out of the groove. He cranks the outside wall. And now this most recent stretch of laps, Kurt Busch, cut tire, falling behind on pit road, and Ricky Rudd oiling the racetrack down, bringing out what is the 8th caution just past the midway point of this race. Boy, it's been brutal. Got a lot of cleaning up to do, so we'll take another break here from the New England 300, presented by Stacker 2 at New Hampshire.
Did you know that over the history of the New Hampshire International Speedway, Ford has been the most successful manufacturer here with half of the wins? Jeff Burton, the most successful driver with 4 wins. So how does the boy from Virginia become so successful in New Hampshire? Well, believe it or not, he has a hometown advantage. Crew Chief Frank Stoddard is from North Haverhill, New Hampshire. It's about 50 miles north of here. Frank started hitting the racetracks at the age of 10. And at 14, started working for Northeast racing legend Stub Fadden. Frank's success as the crew chief up north led to a job down south with a young driver named Jeff Burton. And guess what? Their first race together, they won, and they've been winning together ever since. We're back to green on the racetrack.
Jerry Nadeau is your leader as we go back under the green flag. Jeff Gordon is second. John Andretti, Ward Burton, and Bobby Hamilton, the rest of the top 5. None of them pitted on this yellow. And you have Jeff Green, who took fuel only. Then Matt Kenseth and Dale Earnhardt Jr. I don't think they're going to be there for long.
And Bill Elliott, the 9-car bowl sitter that had a problem several laps down, just blows by Jerry Nadeau.
While you're watching the race leaders, let's update that Rusty Wallace did get a lap back from Matt Kenseth coming to that last caution. He is on the lead lap.
And Rusty's back in the 28th position right now. 32 cars on the lead lap.
Remember while we heard about the deal, Matt Kenseth saying, tell Rusty I need the inside and I will remember him. Well,
and he did.
He held up his end of the bargain.
And these guys, everybody does remember that. Believe me. If he wanted to give him, we got another car that's sliding up high in 3 and 4.
Bobby Hamilton got outside up there, and I don't think he hit anything, but
lost a lot of track position.
Oh, he was running about 5th or 6th, and all the way back to the last car on the lead lap.
You see Ricky Rudd there in the picture, back on track, still on the lead lap, down in 29th spot. Matt?
Well, down here in the 28th pit, Babak, you brought Ricky in several times. He speculated about a possible oil line problem. What was the culprit?
We had a power steering line loose, so we just had to come in, get it tight, fill it back up, power steering fluid. Everything's okay now. Let's see if we got enough laps to get back to the front.
They worked the caution to their perfection, not losing a lap. He's now up to 29th from 32nd.
Well, he just lost a couple more spots because he got high in the infamous turn 4. Did not hit anything, but could not go forward very well either.
Ricky Craven and Hut Strickland, 10th place here. And there's Jeff Burton creeping into the picture in that 99 car. Elliott Sadler, one to watch, you said, VP. Check it out, he's up to 13.
And that's a backup car that he's in. And Eddie Wood told me this morning that car has behaved much better than the primary car they have here, which they lost in a wreck. They've had 2 pit stops that were less than 14.5 seconds. And they battled back from an early spin, so it is an outstanding day for Elliott Sadler.
And John Andretti, oh man, we see Jimmy Spencer going by the 14 car, Stacy Compton. I tell you what, this racetrack today is awfully hard. Anytime it's hard on brakes, but today with this very, very tight groove, we know these drivers are using a tremendous amount of brakes. As a matter of fact, we have a brake camera on board Elliott Sadler. See the brake rotor over here, nice and dark down the straightaway. Watch when he goes in the corner and has to hit the brakes hard. Just how red it turns.
He's getting off the brakes quickly,
yes,
which is good.
Got 2nd place here.
Ward Burton goes by Jeff Burton.
As we're saying, BP, if you can get it, initially you use a lot of brake here to scrub the speed off, get the nose down, then get off the pedal real quick. Watch what Elliott's doing here. Gets after the brake, and right now he's off the brake. And that's a good sign. That's a sign the car's working really well. If you saw that rotor red for a lot longer, that means his car's not working so good. He's using the brake to slow the car down and turn the car. So it looks like he's got a pretty good car underneath him right now.
Elliott Sadler started 38th. Right now he is running 13th. About 6 seconds behind leader Jerry Nadeau.
A couple more cars that we talked about. Besides Elliott Sadler, who started in the back, was Dale Jarrett. Started back in about 33rd position, and DJ is...
He's made about half of it up. Bobby Labonte.
17th.
Bobby Labonte has made about halfway through the field, too, from starting in the back in that backup car.
He's 21st. What's going on with the leader, guys?
Well, Benny, the leader has not had brakes since lap 2, according to crew chief James Ince. So Jerry Nadeau is driving it around here essentially without brakes, which I guess means he won't have many problems with it. While we get a change for position on the track, Nadeau is on the same sequence with the rest of the leaders now, Alan, so he should not fade back. They believe they'll only have to stop one more time, but they need some yellow laps. I think they might get them.
Dave, when we say we don't have any brakes, you can't take that too literal, because if he doesn't have any brakes, he would be in the wall or pulling in. Still running good times. What's happening is he's probably getting the brakes hot, probably having to pump them. He's having to work that brake pedal a lot more than he was earlier, but that's where the term, I got no brakes, comes from.
Nadeau, Ward Burton, then Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon, and Matt Kenseth are the top 5. Brian Newman, John Andretti, Kevin Harvick, Sterling Marlin, and Jeff Green filling out the top 10. Kenseth has been treading higher than anybody in 1 and 2.
He really is running a very, very high line down in 1 and 2, and it seems to be working very well for him. The bad break that Matt Kenseth has caught was watching Ward Burton who's currently in the second position as he tries to close in on the leader. The bad break Kenseth is getting right now is the main adversary, the 8 car, got through the traffic a lot better than he did.
Let's drop back to 7th place. Remember, we saw John Andretti get nosed into the wall off the front stretch when he and Casey Atwood got tangled together back at lap 76. He's made a nice recovery.
Man, he's got a lot of damage to that right front fender. I'm surprised he's getting through the corners as well as he is, actually.
This is for 7th place. And there's your championship leader, Sterling Marlin. And the old Silver Bullet.
Now the 29 is going to turn. Wow, what a great run he got in the middle of the corner, talking about 29 of Kevin Harvick.
I think Sterling's going to take advantage of that move as well.
We heard in Discover Car Countdown to Green, Kevin Harvick talking about Richard Childress Racing and the struggles they went through earlier in the season and how things are really starting to march forward for them. They put the exclamation point on that with a victory last Sunday at Chicagoland. We put a TNT Racecast poll up. Wanted to know if Kevin Harvick's victory in Chicago was proof that his season has turned around. A lot of you folks don't think so.
2/3 of you don't think so. Now, Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, currently in the 5th position, closes up on the back bumper of Jeff Gordon, trying to get by Jeff.
And still a lot of radio chatter between these drivers and their crew chiefs and spotters about track conditions.
Now, I was going to say, if you run on a guy's bumper like that, eventually you're going to wear him out. He actually probably got into the back of the 24 a little bit.
He's in a hurry.
And Jeff loses 2 spots as Ryan Newman, the 12 car, goes by.
Check out the lead. Ward Burton starting to put some pressure on Jerry Nadeau. Good drive for Ward, 31st. They used some pitch strategy to get him up front, but still.
And they're running good laps, though. I mean, they're watching the times here, and they're running fast laps, so their cars are pretty good.
And like we talked about before, track position is king.
Yeah.
And whatever it takes to get it.
All right, now, last time we asked you how many laps it was going to take for Junior to pass Kenseth. What's it going to be here? Oh, never mind.
I think Ward's going to get him real soon.
Never mind.
Real soon.
I was trying to set you up for another fall, and it didn't work out.
Jerry hanging out.
He did not roll over and play dead, I'll tell you that.
Okay, how many laps?
Okay, let me think about that.
Trying. Can he cut it down and get underneath it?
Well, he made a nice cut right there. That was impressive to be able to do that right in the center of the corner. So I'd say it's his. Yep.
Burton's out front, but he better get going in a hurry because Dale Earnhardt Jr. is trying to follow him through past Nadeau. 116 laps to go here at New Hampshire. It's happened again. Flagman's had to pull that yellow out and wave it over the New Hampshire International Speedway. 9th one of this race.
And I think we can look at the back of the Pennzoil Chevrolet and figure out that what might have happened to cause him to spin. Looks like someone ran in the back to Pole Steve Park. Big time.
Well, let's check it out.
There we see him coming off the corner.
Well, BP, he just did what everybody else is doing. Got that right front up in the marbles, and
the wall ran into the back of that car.
The wall ran in the back of the car. I see.
What Schrader call that? The slide for life?
Oh, Kurt Busch just gets by Steve Grissom. All right, here we go. Pit stops are beginning.
Oh, we've got a wide variety of things here. Some have pitted, some have not. Dave?
Leader Jerry Nadeau subbing for Johnny Benson. He gives up the lead, and he will have to make another stop after this. There's no way they can go all the way. Air out of both front tires. He needs the car to grab a little bit better in the turns when he turns through the corners. Matt?
Dave, they're going to make both a wedge and track bar adjustment on Jeff Gordon's car. He last pitted on lap 123. They had about 35 to 40 more laps on their tires. That's why they started to fade, and they could not make it on one more stop from this juncture. You could hear the disappointment in Jeff's voice when he acknowledged Robbie telling him he couldn't make it on one more stop.
7 laps to go. That is out of the range for anybody to make it, but what this is set up for these guys who pitted is that fuel-only quick burst when the remaining pit stops happen a little bit later on in this thing. Mark Martin among those who put himself in position with that strategy.
And here's where we've seen some problems in the past anyway, Benny. The guys that didn't pit, that had those tires on, they pick up those marbles and junk on the yellow. And we've seen some guys slide up. That time they got through 1 and 2 pretty clean.
As you watch the running order at the top of the screen, the first 16 on the lead lap did not pit under this caution. The first guy to have pitted is Jerry Nadeau. He's in 17th place right now for the restart.
So a lot of different strategies playing out.
So now all the guys from Nadeau on back have stopped. So let's talk about the guys who didn't stop and the guys who did, and what each of those mindsets might be for strategy.
Well, I think the guys that did stop are just like Benny and I were talking earlier. They're setting themselves up to have the best tires they can. If this thing goes green right now, and I got 4 tires on right now, all I'm going to do is gas and go, BP.
Even if the caution flag comes out, if I make a pit stop, it's going to be gas only. Jerry Nadeau has changed tires for the last time, I think, in most of those cars. And I don't know about the 8, the 22, the 7. The 22, I think, has to stop again and change tires. But it may be that Junior and the 17 of Kenseth will not change tires when they stop for fuel.
Ward Burton, the leader. Dale Earnhardt Jr. second. Matt Kenseth third. Ryan Newman fourth. Kevin Harvick fifth.
Oh, look at that Junior get that run off turn 4. He backed up, tried to get him a great run. All he did was succeed was getting up to the back bumper of Ward Burton and not alongside.
Almost got into him there. Listening to some conversation between Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his crew chief Tony Eury Sr. Here's what he had to say a minute ago.
I just ain't quite as good as I was earlier, and I can't really point to why. Other than I just the front kind of ain't working like it was.
And Bill Elliott is off the pace. Looks like he might have gotten up higher. Maybe the same thing happened to him that happened earlier when the engine just quit running on the 9. But meanwhile, you did see the 17 car of Matt Kenseth take over that second spot from Dale Earnhardt Jr.
About 2/3 of the way through the New England 300 presented by Stacker 2.
And Jeff Gordon is almost in the wall. He got up high down at 3 and 4. Somehow was able to keep the car back under control. Did not make any contact.
Just joining us, story of this day. Very tricky, very slippery track conditions that even the best of the business are having trouble handling. Tony Stewart went out after getting up out of the groove and popping the wall in turn 4. Kyle Petty, same thing. Now Jeff Gordon.
Oh!
Safe at all to be out on a track.
That's Jeff Gordon's radio. He's not happy. Jeff Green is running in 8th place, trying to defend that from Ricky Craven and Dale Jarrett.
And Jarrett slipped down, and Ricky tried everything he could to get underneath and slid a little sideways. Oh, we got Michael Waltrip in trouble right there.
And Terry Labonte down at the bottom of the racetrack also stopped in that incident.
Well, Kurt Busch gets a lap back, so now he's only 3 down.
Michael is fired up and continued on away. This is caution number 10. By the way, the record for most cautions in a Winston Cup race in New Hampshire, I'm sure that was going to pop into your head soon.
It had already, but go ahead.
17.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so we got a ways to go before we catch it. But 10 2/3 of the race, the possibilities exist.
You know, here we are on lap 199. I'm not too sure that anyone can make it from here on fuel. Someone might try it.
Yeah. They would be stretching it.
Yeah, they might have to try it. Some guys will, based on the cautions that we've had today. So that would increase your fuel mileage. So I guarantee you some guys at the back of the pack are going to try it.
Well,
all
here
right.
comes the leader.
Ward is going to come in. Jeff Green. Looks like Dale Jarrett, Elliott Sadler. A lot of these guys you think are setting themselves up for a fuel mileage run, Marty.
Ward Burton is here. The only adjustment to this car is they pulled 2 tearaways off the windshield. It will be 4 tires, a little slow on the rear tires. They cannot make it all the way on fuel. Tommy Baldwin, the crew chief, told me this morning they are terrible on fuel mileage this weekend.
Well, that's one car that won't be playing fuel mileage.
No.
But
Matt?
Well, Alan, Jeff Gordon says his car is really, really loose on new tires. They're going to put sticker tires on this time. They're also going to make an air pressure adjustment in the right rear. They went down a half a pound. Closing up that staggered force is down and away.
Well, we know for sure that he has changed tires for the last time.
that's real important for those guys that stayed on the track now to keep those tires clean. This is so crucial right now to the yellow to keep them clean.
And you know, all these caution flags today have left 31 cars on the lead lap with all these different pit strategies to go on. Anybody could win this thing in these final 100 laps. One to go now, the signal at New Hampshire International Speedway. The green flag flies next time in the New England 300 presented by Stacker 2. There will be 94 laps to go when we get this restart. Turn 4 has been the trouble spot today.
See, Kyle Petty got up high, could not turn the car, made contact with the wall. Same exact thing happened to Tony Stewart. Steve Park, the back end got loose. Would not grip anything. He backs it in the wall. Jeff Gordon, no, almost hits the wall, but not quite.
Now let's explain. We talked about the construction that was done to the track. New surface that was laid down on the inside, and the debate is bouncing back and forth down on pit road. Is it pavement that's coming up? Is it old rubber? What is it that's coming up that's causing all these people to slip and slide?
I don't know. My guess is it's pavement. It's to the little stones on new pavement, and they rolled up outside the groove, and you get inside, you get your car in that, it just will not turn. Whatever wheel happens to hit it is going to slide, either front or rear.
And until they stop the race and you can go down and look at the racetrack, there's no way to tell for sure.
It doesn't matter. There's nothing they can do. If it is the track coming up, there's nothing that they can fix to make this any better for these guys today. It just can't and it won't happen. So, like I said, you got to drive either underneath the problem. Well, that's the only thing you can do right now is drive underneath it because you can't run high here.
So, track conditions are tough. Now we've got some strategy coming into play. We've got a pretty good race for the lead here, too. Matt Kenseth and Dale Earnhardt Jr. have been the two dominant cars for most of this race.
And Junior, once again, is trying to take that lead. He's taking a look. Couldn't quite get a run on Kenseth.
Just remember, Matt's car takes a long time for those tires to really stick after the cautions.
Bill, you got to talk to Robbie and see what their strategy is. Are they going to change tires anymore? He got all the tires he's going to get. Here comes Junior on the inside for the lead. Last by. That was more Kenseth beating the brakes than it was horsepower on the 8-car's part.
Okay, let him go. Yeah, these two last stopped at lap 159, so they are going to have to stop again, but there are some under this last caution who are probably going to try and not pit anymore this race. Try and get some track position. Marty?
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr. out on the racetrack. I just talked to Tony Eury Sr. and Jeff Clark, the engine tuner. They said their fuel window was not, they were not in their fuel window. That's why they did not come down pit road. If they get to lap 215 and we get a caution, you will see Junior down pit road. Back further in the field is Ward Burton. Now, he said earlier that they could not go all the way on fuel, but Tommy Baldwin is saying we might just try it now because of all the caution laps we expect. Matt?
Matt Borland is Ryan Newman's crew chief. You were out of your window, so when are you going to pit, and what are you going to do to it, Matt?
We're looking anywhere from the next 40 to 50 laps to be in our window, and not sure yet if it's going to be 4 or 2 or no tires, but probably going to be a big mix-up here on this last stop.
Under that caution, Ryan came on the radio and was talking to his dad. He said, this reminds me of Del Mar. It's a 1 mile. The track's starting to come up. If I only had tear-offs, I would use them, Bill.
With Robbie Reiser, what's the plan, Robbie?
Well, the plan right now is to run to our field window, and then we'll put some tires on her and go to the end, I think. It's about the only option we really got. That's kind of what we stuck out to the end here. We can run pretty decent on older tires anyway. So I think, you know, the AT&T Ford's running good, and we'll just take our shot there at the end.
Okay, Benny?
I think it depends on if this thing goes green or yellow on what they're going to do in the pits.
Yeah, well, that's a crazy thing. If it should go green the rest of the way, what will they do? Will they stop early, change tires, or just go as long as they can and gas only?
Got so many cars on the lead lap because of all the yellows. 31 cars are on the lead lap. And important to note that on the next to last lap of that previous caution, Jeff Gordon and Jeff Green came in and topped off the fuel. That was with 95 to go. There's a real shot that they can make it. How about Kevin Harvick, Dave?
And I was going to add, too, real quick, Alan, Terry Labonte topped off as well. We'll keep an eye on him. But for Kevin Harvick, he had the radio communication from crew chief Gil Martin that said nothing we have shows that we can make it. We were about 5 laps short of our window, so that's why Kevin did not come in and top off and try to make it all the way.
Which, you know, is a smart move. You may as well stay out there up front. Gain a little bit of clean air anyway. If you got to stop again, you've got track position.
There's no question that the 8 and the 17 have been the dominant cars, but the way that the fuel calculations may be working out on the 24 or any of these other guys, Matt, this could be anybody's race.
Well, Alan, Jay Wiles has crunched the calculator numbers, and it still comes back. They are more than likely 8 to 10 laps shy of making it. So they had to pit anyways. They feel like they can only go by 85 laps.
Well, I will say that when Jeff Gordon pitted, they not only did they put gas in the car, they pulled a rubber out of the right rear spring trying to tighten his car up, change the chassis adjustment. So it wasn't just for gasoline that he pitted.
85 laps, though. That's shy of what a lot of people can get. So they're on the short end of that fuel window, I think.
But now,
the sleeper may be the 22 car.
And how many caution flag laps are there? They may be able to turn that 85 into 95. You know, if the thing goes the way that it has, they may get a lot of caution flag opportunities. There are the top two. Earnhardt Jr. and Kenseth. They've cleared Ryan Newman, the third-place car, by a second and a third.
You know, Alan, you just made a great point because there have been so many cautions. Talking to some of these crew chiefs down here, they don't want a short pit for fear of getting caught off the lead lap if a caution does come out. So you'll see most of them push their fuel as far as they can.
Ricky Craven has as many laps on this racetrack as probably any driver, period, in all the different things that he's run here. Busch North races, Busch Series races, as Matt Kenseth gets the lead from Dale Earnhardt Jr. Was it Bill said that, remember, Kenseth's cars take some laps to come in?
That's what he said, and that's what it looks like, that after a few laps, his car really becomes fast. And I think, what was that?
I don't know what he said, but it was Matt Kenseth.
Someone said he said to the crew, like glue.
No, he said cool. Oh. You know, like the opposite of hot.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I understand that.
So you're saying he likes his race car right now?
I'd say he's in love with that race car right about now.
He could pass that Earnhardt for the lead. Yeah, he probably likes his race car.
Kenseth quickly putting 3/10 of a second on the Bud car. There you see the rest of the pack, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th behind them.
I'll tell you what, last week's Chicago winner, Kevin Harvick, is no slouch back there in 4th spot.
Get in there. Yeah, Jeff Burton in 5th. And the championship leader, Sterling Marlin, in 6th. 81 laps to go in the New England 300, presented by Stacker 2, but a lot of strategy to be played out yet.
Just about 75 laps remain here at the New Hampshire International Speedway, the New England 300, and Matt Kenseth, a 3-time winner this year, continues to pace the field, and in these final 75 laps, you are going to see some wacky strategy probably play out, whether it's tires, whether it's no tires, whether it's a fuel mileage run, whether it's a gamble using the new part of the racetrack, or whether it's the amount of cautions that come out because of the problems the drivers are having keeping their car glued to the track. The interesting thing here is driver crew chief communication. A lot of drivers aren't sure whether they want to change the tires they have because they're good. A lot of drivers want to take 4 tires and force other guys to take them. So Wally, if you're out there and your car's handling pretty good and you got about 50 to go, you sticking with those tires or are you going for new ones?
Absolutely, Mel. If my car's handling good, I'm going to take the least amount of time I can in pit lane. That is absolutely right. But also, we're relying on our crew chiefs right now. We're saying, hey, what are my lap times? They're going to say, listen, yeah, we can take 4 tires, Wally, but it's going to cost a track position. If you can hang on to those tires and run these same lap times, I think we can pick up 5 or 10 spots. Hey, that's what the driver's always going to do. He's going to sacrifice maybe the car handling not so well, but he wants those positions.
Now, what if I stop 15 laps before you and take 4?
I'd be mad at you, Bill.
I think that if you stop and change 4 tires, right now I think most of these cars are going to 1 can of fuel, which is 7 or 8 seconds. If a guy wants to change 4 tires and give away 8 or 9 seconds, so be it.
I don't think you're going to do it. If this thing goes green, you can't afford it. You're right, Benny.
Jeff Burton just passed Ryan Newman for 3rd place. 12 cars back to 4th, Matt.
And Ryan Newman, Alan, came on the radio and said he has a slight vibration in the right rear. They're going to try to ride it out as long as they can to get to their window. But when they do make their last stop, Matt McSwain, the rear tire changer, will go over the wall one final time. His wife Jennifer 4 weeks ago gave birth to twins, Ben and Bela. He is sacrificing family over job. He will stay with the team. He will become the shop foreman. He will stay back in the shop and set up the cars. He was the very first employee on this 12 team. It breaks his heart to come off the road, but it breaks his heart to leave his family.
Usually that vibration, you may have thrown a weight off the wheel, you know, the balance or something like that. It's not something you can really come in for unless you think you're A, losing a wheel, or you got a big problem. So when you get a vibration like that, you're just hoping that now maybe the wheel's out of balance a little bit. But he's running awfully good for it to look like to be a serious problem.
You know, the schedule for Winston Cup racing is so demanding, not just the weekends away, but the time during the week at the shop to prepare these cars, that family time really is tough to find when you're traveling for 42 weeks a year.
And when Matt McSwain talks about those twin babies, his eyes light up. He just cannot stand being gone away from home, not being able to go home at 5 or 6 o'clock at night and see those babies. He decided, he talked to the team about it. Roger Penske, the owner, said, stay home. And that's what he's going to do.
There's Kevin Harvick, last week's winner. Caution is coming out. Debris in turn 2.
Oh, boy.
Piece of metal off of one of the cars has come out onto the track. Now, we got enough cars with beat-up fenders out there that that's no surprise. Yellow number 11. Everybody's in the fuel window now. This is going to get wild on pit road.
That looks like it's off a front valence. That looks like it's a piece of aluminum that goes along the front bottom of the nose on the car.
That's turn 3. I think I said turn 2 a minute ago. My math was off.
Again.
All right, pace car is out. But the leader's been picked up.
I am positive of this with my math. Everybody can make it from here to the finish on fuel.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll just be interesting if Tommy Baldwin brings that 22 car in or leaves him out now.
Who gets no tires and just fuel? Who gets 2 tires? Who gets 4? Lead lap, we've got 31 cars. Pit road's going to be a busy place. Kenseth, Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Burton, Ryan Newman, Kevin Harvick, the top 5. Dave Burns.
The decision for Jeff Burton, who has won this race 4 times, will be 4 tires. No changes to the car. All they want to hear is 20 lug nuts, according to Frankie. Marty?
Tony Eury Sr. reminded Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew this could be the race for the win. 4 tires. They make an air pressure and a wedge adjustment. A very quick stop. He was tight. Weber.
The 17 to 4 tires and fuel. He's already on his way. It is a mad dash in traffic down pit road.
Looked like Ward Burton might have just had the touch of fuel along with the other Bill Davis car for Hut Strickland.
Yeah, it looks like they put fuel only in that car.
Dave?
29 car of Kevin Harvick took on 2 tires, but had trouble getting off pit lane and lost several positions.
All right, let's take a break here. Our pit reporters will double-check all the strategy calls. We'll bring them all to you when we come back. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. The way things have gone so far today in the New England 300, a lot of different leaders and a lot of caution flags. Amazingly, with all the cautions, only 4 cars officially retired from the race. Morgan Shepherd, Joe Nemechek, Kirk Shelmerdine, and Jeffrey Bodine all went out very early. Tony Stewart's car's behind the wall, but it has yet to be officially retired.
And we see 62 caution laps. All right, here we go.
Did not pit. Dale Jarrett, Jimmy Johnson, Elliott Sadler, Jeff Green, Terry Labonte, Todd Bodine. They are the first 6.
See Kurt Busch there in the 97 car. A couple of laps down, getting one of them back.
Dale Jarrett did not want to be on the outside on that first lap, so I believe he cut Kurt a break there.
Bill Elliott went with us earlier, started on the pole, had a problem. Engine just shut down. They brought it down pit road, changed the carburetor, got him back on track, but he's 10 laps down in 34th spot.
Right here with Jimmy Johnson. He got a little squirrely. He got a little squirrely again over in 1 and 2. And Elliott Sadler going to take that. Well, maybe not. Yeah, he's got the fender on him anyway.
He's going to go on in there, but Jimmy is going to drive it in and just drive down.
But Jimmy's having a hard time getting in the corners right now.
First car that pitted under that caution is Ward Burton. He's back in 7th place. Then you've got Rusty Wallace in 8th. Remember, he has been a couple of laps down earlier in the race. Got them both back. Jimmy Spencer 9th. Mark Martin 10th. Those guys all pitted under that caution also.
You know, I talked to Dale Jarrett on the Discover car countdown to green and asked him, could he get to the front? He said he would take some pit strategy to do it. Well, here he is in the front. Elliott Sadler, another car, started back 38, running in 3rd spot.
Trouble off turn 4. Caution is out. Michael Waltrip. 12th yellow flag. I told you we had time to get to that record of 17. Still got 58 laps to go.
And Kurt Busch got a lap back. Bill Elliott got a lap back.
Bill Elliott's got a lot of lap back, it seems like. Is that 3 now? I think he's got 3 laps back.
Should be his 4th one that he'll get back. He was 13 down. This is going to leave him 9.
And Steve Parks trying to get back to the line. Can't quite make it.
You know, Elliott, if they keep having cautions, he might get back to 1 or 2 down. Maybe even on the lead lap. You never know. 57 laps to go. Yellow flag number 12 is out here at New Hampshire.
Well, it has been a wacky day here in the New England 300. Right now, Elliott Sadler running 2nd. Crew Chief Patch Racing, can you go to the finish without stopping for fuel?
It's pretty close. We were counting on a couple of these caution laps with the Motor Trade Quality Parts Board tour. It's been running pretty good all day, so we decided to go into track position, and I think we can make it. Even if we can't, we're going to try to make it.
How big was this caution?
It helped us a bunch. We needed just a couple more laps. We still might be 1 or 2 shy, but if we're shy, we're going to go for it anyhow.
Okay, I finally got a straight answer out of him because I asked him about 3 or 4 times off of camera, and he really wouldn't commit to anything. So now we know the answer. It's go or go broke.
I like it.
I like it, yes, sir.
I think we're going to see a lot of that in these final laps. Next weekend, Buckhole qualifying from Pocono Friday on TNT. Saturday, the Net 0250 for the Busch Series from Pikes Peak on NBC, and then the Pep Boys Pennsylvania 500 next Sunday on TNT. We are green at New Hampshire once again.
Now Dale Jarrett can't be so nice. He's got 3 of those guys lined up, so he got to the bottom. Good restart from him.
All right, he got a really good break in Steve Park. Held up Elliott Sadler, Jeff Green.
Or somebody was crowding somebody there.
That was Matt Kenseth, Robbie Gordon, and Hutch Strickland, 3 wide. Thank you, and they all made it. Not sure how.
I didn't know that groove was that wide.
Well, Matt was kind of all 4 wheels below the yellow line.
Oh, I see. Now I understand.
The other 2 guys were kind of tied up with each other at the moment. He said, excuse me, I'm coming through. Dale Jarrett. Ooh.
Kurt Busch down there trying to get alongside the 1 car.
See that big wiggle Jarrett had when he went into turn 1? Kind of a little square corner there. Race for the championship. Where are the contenders running today? Sterling Marlin is farther back than he's been all day. He's been 6th to 10th all day, but this whole strategy track position thing has got him shuffled back to 22nd right now. And Mark Martin, as you ride with him, he's up in 10th. So what was a 49-point difference between the two would be 5 if they finish this way.
And the shuffling is not finished.
Oh, no. By any stretch of the imagination, this shuffling is not over.
Yeah, I keep saying it, and I don't want to sound like I'm hyping it because I'm not, but with this many cars on the lead lap, anybody could win this thing. The way the cautions fall, you know, the farther we get to the finish, the more intense some of these little fender confrontations are going to get.
Well, I tell you, a guy that's got a good race car is Kurt Busch. He's trying to get alongside Dale Jarrett now, trying to get that last lap back, but it's not going to do him any good because once he gets it back, then he's 31st.
Hey, another guy that slipped into 5th place just now is Rusty Wallace.
Yeah, made up 2 laps.
And now you know why these guys were racing so hard to try to keep Rusty down.
Trouble turn 4, Ricky Craven.
And no caution yet. It doesn't look like there's going to be one.
Well, that hurts some guys' track position.
They are checking turn 4. They say the track is clear. As I monitor the NASCAR officials' radio communications, we will stay under green.
Now, Jeff went down pit road, obviously not pit road speed, but I think they'll let him have that one because he was trying to avoid a wreck.
Oh, yeah.
Matt?
Well, the 24 Jeff Gordon, when they pitted on that previous caution, they were going to go for track position, gas only, but a miscue in the pits. The crew was pushing the car forward, but they didn't know that Jeff was blocked in. Jeff was starting to back the car up. In the confusion, Jeff stalled the car. At that point, they'd lost that track position they were trying to gain, so they came back in to take out 4 tires. They restarted in 30th. He's been mired back in traffic. He's now 31st.
Another look at what happened to Ricky Craven in turn 4 a second ago.
Looks like Sterling Marlin in the 40 car is going to get in the back of Ricky Craven. Just touch him in the back. Around goes Craven. Does a 360 or 720. I'm not sure exactly which.
He did a lot.
But that's some great driving to not hit anything spinning like that. That's from Kevin Harvick's car.
And it looks like that Ricky Craven had jumped out of the throttle because something happened in front of him that caused him to jump out of the throttle, and that's why Sterling ran the back of him.
Yeah, that angle showed it great right there.
Watching Jeff Green and Ward Burton race for 3rd and 4th places. A couple of guys trying to stretch the fuel, make it all the way to the finish from their last stops. Matt?
Well, Alan, when that happened, Ricky Craven came on the radio and said he would like to have a nice conversation with Sterling Marlin when this race is over. Then he came on the radio about half a lap ago and said, I think I may have a tire going down. I may have a flat.
Oh, no.
Happy homecoming. Ricky Craven from Newburgh, Maine, spent some years living in Concord, New Hampshire, which is just 6-7 miles from the racetrack here. And up to the lead. Here comes Elliott Sadler.
Well, Elliott is not trying to save gas, is he? He's trying to take the lead.
Well, when you can see it and taste it,
yeah,
on it.
It's kind of hard to back off the throttle, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Couple of second-place finishes so far this season for Sadler. The Daytona 500 and the spring race at Darlington.
And we talked about that being a backup car, Alan, for Elliott Sadler. It's not really a backup car. He's going to go for the lead, guys. Ducks back in. It's really the backup car. It's been on the ring most of the year, but it's never gotten a chance to taste the track. It just sits up there. They finally had to bring it out. The car got so excited, it's taking Elliott right to the front.
And he needs to go. He needs to get by the 88 car because all these guys behind him are starting to catch him. Guys like Rusty and Ward Burton, Jeff Green. So he really needs to get by the 88. I think he's a little bit faster at this point.
And here he comes. He's on the inside. Down in turn 1. He's not going to back off this time.
Now, he'll go in deep this time.
laps to go. Elliott Sadler takes the point from Dale Jarrett. He started back in 38th. And we heard his crew chief, Pat Tryson, say just a minute ago, they may make it on fuel, but they're going to go for it anyway.
It doesn't matter. We're not stopping.
Man, the top 6 cars. Oh, Ward Burton just got into the back of Jeff Green there in the middle of 3 and 4.
And here comes Matt Kenseth. He and Dale Earnhardt Jr. have been the dominant cars in this race. Stopped, took tires and fuel under that last caution, and he's starting to pick his way back through. He's got enough laps to get there.
I don't know. It's hard to imagine getting by all these cars on a very, very tight racetrack in the last 40 laps. But we'll see, maybe.
Another thing you got to be careful of, BP, is, you know, these guys are talking about we think we can make it, we're going to try it. Look at how close they're running. If it gets down to it and one of these guys runs out of gas, they're going to be all over each other.
Ward Burton on Jeff Green. This is for 3rd place.
And Rusty Wallace in the 2 cars trying to get close enough that he can follow Ward Burton through. Oh, and some contact between the 17 and 2.
I guess that friendship they developed earlier in the race is gone between those two.
Yeah, it's kind of gone now, Bill, yeah.
They already paid each other back, so everything's even.
Ward Burton to 3rd. Jeff Green back to 4th. Matt Kenseth is by Rusty Wallace for 5th. Elliott Sadler is the leader. This is our last commercial break before the checkered flag. 39 laps to go. It's going to be a good finish.
Stacker 2 presents the New England 300 on TNT. Today's race is brought to you by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Burn fat, crush cravings, and supercharge your energy. By Ford, the most far-reaching sports utility vehicles on Earth. Ford Outfitters, no boundaries. By Subway, fresh-made sandwiches on fresh baked bread. Subway, eat fresh. And by the United States Army, an army of one.
Another sellout crowd at New Hampshire International Speedway has seen a rough and wild race, one that's outcome is still very much in doubt with just 33 laps to go. Elliott Sadler in the Wood Brothers car getting pressure from Dale Jarrett for the lead.
And here goes DJ. He's on the inside. Looks like he's going to take it away, and yes, he is. I just wonder if DJ, Todd, and those guys lost track of the 21 car. Because remember, he just let the 21 car go by like he was a car a lap down. What if they didn't realize that was the lead? Because DJ now is running faster than he was before. Marty, what's going on down there?
No, they knew that was for the lead, Benny, but Dale Jarrett gets better the longer he runs. They're concerned that the car may fall off in the last 10 or 15 laps or so, because that's what it's done all day long. It's gotten a little too tight the longer he runs, but it's just coming to him right now.
Big hole I see in the front of the 30 car, right around the headlight.
That's probably been there since that incident with Joe Nemechek. Remember, he was the one involved in the contact with the 25? What was that? Way back at lap 30.
Didn't notice it earlier.
Trouble. Casey Atwood. Caution is out. Second crash of the day for Atwood. He got tangled up with John Andretti off turn 4 earlier. And the Serious Dodge has got some serious problems right now.
Well, how many caution flags is that? And what was the record again?
This will be number 13. And the record's 17.
Oh, we got a long ways to go.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we don't get to the record.
Only got 29 laps to go. I hope we don't have another 4 or 5 cautions in that time.
The problem that, especially on a one-group racetrack like this, is cautions breed cautions. I mean, you get these cars bunched up side by side, and it's almost impossible not to make contact.
Especially towards the end of the race. Every spot counts.
32 cars on the lead lap here.
I don't think you'll see too many guys diving from pit lane here.
No.
Yeah, it's almost a no-win situation for some of these crew chiefs.
Kurt Busch is about the only guy because he's now is on the lead lap, but he's 32nd. He might come down and make adjustments, change tires, because he has nothing to lose.
You know, if you're one of these guys that's 10th or 15th and you take the tires, you're going back to 30th. It's not like there's only, 16, 17 cars on the lead lap, so it's really going to be tough for some of these guys to come onto pit road. And so far, no takers.
Let's see who is the first guy to dive on the pit road. My guess is, oh, here we go, Hut Strickland. Oh, I'm sorry, Jeremy Mayfield.
Yep.
Stacy Compton. John Andretti.
Bobby Hamilton, Ricky Craven, Steve Grissom, and Kurt Busch, like you said, coming in for tires. So, how did caution flag number 13 get caused?
Well, we'll show you.
On board.
Just got loose getting in. That hurt.
It did hurt. And you're right. I think that was exactly what happened. Wally just got loose getting in the corner.
So Casey Atwood will join Tony Stewart, Morgan Shepherd, Joe Nemechek, Kirk Shelmerdine, and Jeffrey Bodine as those who will not finish the New England 300. 28 laps to go here at New Hampshire. Dale Jarrett's your leader. I think there are probably some frayed nerves on top of those pit boxes with crew chiefs worrying about these last 27 laps of the New England 300. We've got cars leading that might be close to making it on fuel, might run out before they get to the checkers. We've got cars with fresher tires a little bit behind them. Marty, get us started down on pit road.
But you know what, Alan? These caution laps really help these guys. I think this is going to put Dale Jarrett within his window. That's a huge help because I don't think they would have made it before. I just asked Todd Parrott, can you make it? He just smiled. He didn't help me out very much, but he said your biggest competition is the 17 car behind you. Keep him behind you. We'll be in good shape. Bill?
This is the 19th lap of caution since lap 200. That's when Elliott Sadler stopped for fuel. The Wood brothers knew they couldn't make it to the finish from there, but they were counting on caution laps. Once they got to 18, they were sure they couldn't make it. They told Elliott Sadler that. His car's a little tight. Here's their conversation just a moment ago. And we'll get to that in a moment, but I can tell you this, that Elliott Sadler's car, again, just a little bit tight, good to go on fuel. He just has to pass a former Winston Cup champion, and then he goes to victory lane for a team that he's leaving at the end of the year. What a day, Matt.
Bill, the sleeper in today's field could actually be Ryan Newman. Remember back on lap 232, he pitted. The team had to take on 4 tires because he had that vibration. They couldn't take a chance that possibly the vibration was on the left side and not the right side like he thought. He says now the car is just a little bit tight. He restarted in 18th. He came in 4th. Now he's up to 9th. Keep an eye on the 12 car. He's coming. Dave?
Matt, last week's winner, Kevin Harvick, has moved from 17th to 13th since the last restart, but he has a problem. The right front fender is crinkled just a little bit. He didn't have a problem getting around Sterling Marlin, who was blocking him in front, but when he did go wide to pass him, the car of 99 of Jeff Burton crunched the right front fender just a bit, and he's tight when he gets behind other cars. So he's been picking him off, but he's got a real challenge. Bill?
Matt Kenseth, currently running 4th on the racetrack, has had an outstanding car and a fine day. It took 4 tires on his last stop. So I just climbed up these steps here and talked to Robbie Reiser. I said, can you pass all those guys? He goes, it's for the win. We're going to have to pass all those guys. It's going to be extremely difficult, but this caution may give them the extra track advantage they need by bunching up the field. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Let's listen to Matt Kenseth's radio traffic with his crew.
I don't know, guys. If I get the right line, I probably got enough to get him, but it just aggravates me. This thing pushes so bad. It was like the last set of tires we already be leading. It's just unbelievable. It just plows the right front right off and hasn't pushed all day. All right, step 4. Hang in there, Matt. You're doing a real good job. If you cool down here a little bit, I think you got something for these guys.
Matt Kenseth, he's not saying cool anymore like he did earlier.
No, he passed Earnhardt Jr. and said, cool, this is great. Now he's talking about the car pushing so bad.
Ward Burton is one of those guys trying to run from lap 200 to the finish on fuel. Marty?
Well, and he was having a great run out there, sitting in 3rd, as we talked about. This set of tires, too tight for Ward. He said it's picked up a vibration, and he said Tommy Baldwin's crew chief told him, well, you're the fastest car on the track. I don't know what to do other than that. So obviously they're going to leave him out there, but he does have a vibration. He said with the tires this tight, he doesn't think he can pass the cars in front of him.
Jeff Green in 5th place now. put him in that mix of guys scrambling around for the win here at the end. AOL car with that hole punched in the right front.
That can be helping things, but they talked at Chicagoland last week that he really got some great fuel mileage in the AOL car.
Rusty Wallace made up 2 laps after a cut right front tire earlier in the race. He's back in the hunt. 6th place for Rusty, former winner here.
And how about this car behind Rusty? Todd Bodine in the 26th Discover car raced at St. Louis last night. Talk about getting in here at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and here he is for 7th position.
Had to start at the back of the pack because Brother Jeffrey qualified this car, and he's run it up into the top 10. And strategy, track position, the teams made the right calls.
And Travis Carter, I talked to him at Chicagoland last week, and he said some folks had me dead. They had me buried. He said, this team is over. It's going to an auction sale. He said, I don't give up that easy. And here he is. Look, he has a sponsor with a Discover card for the rest of the year. He's going to be here starting next year.
And, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but Todd has not had any laps in this car, has he, up here?
No. Jeffrey did it all.
The start of the race was the first time he drove this car.
Pace car's off. 22 laps till the checkered flag. Dale Jarrett leads him down.
Let's wiggling those cars down the straightaway, trying to make sure those tires are clean when they get down to turn 1.
Came close to that wall. Elliott Sadler getting pressure from Ward Burton, who's getting pressure from Matt Kenseth. Don't anybody slip. There'll be a big pile up there.
And you're running hard at this point, but you're also tiptoeing at this point. Because the track is slippery, you got older tires on it. Very, very difficult. And then you've got cars all around you as well. So it's going to take about 4 or 5 laps. Get a little breathing room.
That was Mike Skinner on the apron. The leaders went by. He's been back and forth behind the wall about a half a dozen times after starting on the outside of the front row. A lot of troubles today for the 4 car.
Matt is all over Ward Burton. Got him a little bit loose there and getting out of turn 4. And that may be all he needs to make the pass going into 1 now.
Even though he's got 33 lap pressure tires than these guys, and he's had one of the dominant cars of the day, as tough as this racetrack is to pass, he's got to go now. He's going to need all these last 20 laps to get by those first 2. So Kenseth to 3rd.
Oh, DJ got it loose off turn 4. Just got back an accelerator. Car extremely loose.
And this is a racetrack also, when you get to this point on tires, BP, you got to be real easy on the throttle. Here you see Junior run under Ryan Newman for the spot, but you got to take the throttle down very easy. You can't just jump on the throttle here.
Here goes Kenseth for 2nd. Elliott Sadler with the wiggle off turn 2.
And Ward Burton goes by. Puts Elliott back to the 4th position.
Dale Jarrett cannot be liking this.
Alan, I think you're right. I think Kenseth is going to eat these guys up. I really didn't think he had enough time.
You know, as much as the tire story has played out all year that older tires were as good as newer, it hasn't been the case today. He's got 33 lap pressure tires plus a better car, and here he goes after the lead.
Oh, he's there. He's there. Right on that yellow line. Here comes DJ trying to fight back.
Got to be careful not to get loose there.
Terrific battle for the lead. 19 laps to go. 17 to go.
Kenseth drives it deep into turn 1. Forces Jarrett out of the way. New leader, Matt Kenseth.
And Ward Burton, he's there. He's trying to take that 2nd spot. But we know DJ does not want to give it away. Has no choice. And look at Jeff Green has moved into the 4th position by Elliott Sadler.
This whole hornet's nest back here. Got Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to push his way up through that group. Todd Bodine is in there. Rusty Wallace.
A little block job there on...
Oh! Little bump and run.
They got a little payback for it.
Oh, he spins around. The track clouded in smoke. The point leader, Sterling Marlin, weaving back and forth, but he maintains control. And the caution is out.
don't think...
And we got crashing in turn 3. Ricky Rudd was slow in turn 3.
And it looks like Hunt Strickland got together coming back to the yellow. And it's not done yet.
Yeah, there'll be a few guys a little bit mad right now under those helmets. That was one of them right there. And what Todd was doing, he went down there for the block, but basically, that's what everybody's going to start doing now.
Caution flag number 14. Still 3 shy of the record, thank you. And Todd Bodine protecting his 7th place while Earnhardt Jr. goes for the spin off of turn 2. Looked like Jr. tried the bump and run a little bit. Todd just...
Well, what happened, Todd came down and made the block, and I think Earnhardt gave him a pop. Probably didn't appreciate it. Here you see right here, here's where Earnhardt gives him a little bit of pop. He got him out of shape. He drove up underneath him, but it just got together getting off the corner.
And just got into the guardrail.
Just got in the guardrail, but he did a lot of damage for just touching it.
Now look at these guys in that cloud of smoke scrambling everywhere. That whole pack was steaming into that.
Oh, man.
See what I mean? It didn't look like he hardly hit it until you saw the damage.
Never seen the contact. I wonder if Junior, when he made contact with the left rear of Todd Bodine's car with the right front, if it jerked the car to the left.
I think it did. I think it broke the car loose exactly when he hit.
Yeah.
From Jimmy Johnson's car.
Now you're relying on your spotter. Where do I go? And there's more wrecks. I have to hurry up and get to this one now.
He's not trying to get it under control.
That's what we call tank slapper.
Evidently, the 23 of Hut Strickland and Rudd had made contact on the backstretch trying to get through the wreck. The first wreck. So therefore, there was a second wreck.
We have reached a caution flag record for the season.
Ah, that's not good.
A lot of body work to be done on these race cars when they get back.
A lot of sports psychologist work to be done tomorrow, too.
Yeah. Bill, Matt Kenseth, the race leader, you're in his pit.
Yeah, and they just talked back and forth briefly on the radio. Just give it everything you got, kid. That's all we need you to do. And he said that he would. Now, remember, throughout this race, his car has not been very good on the laps right after restarts. We'll have to see with the older tires and the heat in the track if he can get going from the green. Otherwise, it could be really wild.
Yep, he's got to keep him clean, Bill, and you can see right now he's on the track really working the car, trying to keep the debris off the tires. If he's going to lose the lead, it's going to be because the car didn't stick on the first or second lap. We'll take a look, see what happens.
12 laps to go. Green flag's back out.
Oh! Elliott Sadler tried to make a move on Jeff Green, but Jeff just went right down, blocked him.
And like I said, that's what these guys are going to start doing right now. They're going to start driving in the mirror as much as out of the windshield to protect that position here in the last 12 laps.
Ryan Newman has position on the inside of Kevin Harvick at turn 3. Harvick drives in there deep.
This is for 8th place.
Wow, that was a little bit of a slide job there.
He loses 2 spots. Robbie Gordon goes by. Here goes Spencer by.
And he's got all that trash on his tires from getting up outside the groove in turn 4.
And they're still not clean, believe me. It takes more than 1 or 2 corners to get it
More
clean.
contact. As Jerry Nadeau leans against the 29 car going down the back.
There are going to be some hot tempers when this thing's over. The tough track conditions for the day and this kind of intense racing on those track conditions. There's going to be some mad people when they get out of those race cars. Matt Kenseth is the leader. Ward Burton is second. Dale Jarrett is third. Jeff Green fourth. Elliott Sadler fifth. Look at this. Ward Burton on Kenseth for the lead.
Unbelievable. Ward Burton, a cat car, goes in front. 9 laps to go and he come by.
the Daytona 500 winner, who's had a miserable season since then. His best finish in the 17 races following Daytona, 7th.
Dale Jarrett cuts underneath Matt, got the car sideways, getting off before, but he's going to take the spot.
Something going on with Kenzen. I know, Bill, you said that his car needed some time to come up to speed. Is that all this is?
He hasn't said a word, haven't heard any radio traffic.
He's got his hands full. I don't think he can get to the button on the steering wheel.
Yeah, there's something going on with the car. It's almost like he has a flat tire on the 17 car.
Rusty Wallace pushing him back to 6th. Todd Bodine going to push him back to 7th. Matt Kenzen is going to go from the lead well back into the pack.
And he's in that high line. He is not liking that.
And after taking the lead, Ward Burton is checked out. Now, Marty, will the fuel hold out? Did they get enough caution laps?
Tommy Baldwin is not worried about that. Remember the vibration we told you about? They think it's the brakes, so the crew said, don't use them. So I think Ward took that to heart and went right around Matt Kenzen. They have not had a top 5 since their win in the Daytona 500. They are so enthusiastic here, they just want to make it to the checkered flag.
You know, the amazing part about it, here's another car, just like Chicagoland last week. When Kevin Harvick got in front, we looked at the scoring monitor and we realized what a great race car Kevin Harvick had. Today, Ward Burton gets in front of the 22 car. We looked at the scoring monitor and he's running some of the fastest laps we've seen all day long.
Matt Kenzen, he's fallen back to, where is he? Back to 15th, Bill. What happened?
It's a tire. He told the crew he's got a flat. They're trying to get him down, trying to see if he can nurse it along. But he does have a tire that's going down, and he's going back.
Heartbreaking.
And this is what Ward Burton wants to see right here. These two guys racing. Because if these guys start racing each other, Ward is just going to keep driving away.
And they're racing for second spot, Dale Jarrett and Jeff Green.
Oh, he's got a big lead right now.
A little nudge.
Green.
Oh, there's going to be some mad people when this thing's over.
Like Bristol.
Yeah.
I'd like to open my office up as a sports psychologist. I'm telling you, make more money than these guys with racing.
Jeff Green to second. Great run for the AOL car.
Boy, you charge a lot.
I do charge a lot, yeah.
Jeff Green's another one that took the fuel on at lap 200 and is going to stretch it to the finish. Track position is king. Ward Burton, Jeff Green, Dale Jarrett, all of them did not stop when the other leaders did at lap 233. They pitted at 200, got the caution laps they needed to stretch the fuel.
And here goes Todd Bodine on the inside of Ryan Newman. And we have Robbie Gordon. Here he comes on the inside of Elliott Sadler. That's for the 7th position. Takes it away. Kurt Busch.
Here he comes.
He was 2 laps down, makes them both up, and here he goes into the 8th position.
And Elliott Sadler's victory dreams are just a few laps back. It's really gone wrong. Ninth place here now. Harvick taking from Sadler. So Elliott is back to 10th. There's Jimmy Spencer closing on him. Ward Burton opened the season with a victory in the sport's biggest race, the Daytona 500. Since then, nothing but trouble. Best finish of 7th. A lot of indecision within the team as to whether Ward was going to come back for next season or not. Finally agreed to stay with him. Said he thinks they've got things going in the right direction. And on a day when he started well back in traffic, 31st place, he took the green flag. He's going to come from nowhere with the help of a good strategy call. And if he can hold on for another lap, pull out a victory.
All right, does he have enough fuel to run this last lap?
He's looking at that fuel pressure gauge right now, BP.
I'm sure he is. White flag.
One more mile for Ward Burton. 13 prior races here in New Hampshire. He's only finished in the top 10 once. It's not been a good track for him. Tommy Baldwin, his crew chief from Long Island, considers this his home racetrack. Even though Pocono's a little closer, he said, I did a lot of my racing and established my career here. This will be a huge win for him.
All yours, man. It's all yours. Bring it on. You're the man! You're the man!
Tommy there, as you could probably tell.
Ward Burton wins the New England 300. 3.2 seconds over Jeff Green. The fuel held up. The strategy call was right. The driver did a heck of a job to make the winning pass.
He finished 41st last week in Chicago, come back to win in Loudon, New Hampshire.
Matt Kenseth did stop to get the tire replaced in the closing few laps. It's going to drop him back to 33rd place, one lap down. There's Tommy Baldwin. How about it, Marty?
Well, Tommy Baldwin has gone out to the racetrack trying to get a high five from Ward Burton, and I'll tell you what, I know you were worried when he said he had the vibration. Did you think he could get around Matt, though?
Well, you know, the 17 car was clearly the best car all day, and we knew if he didn't have a problem, we weren't going to get him, but, you know, the way our year's going, man, the second win of the year, can't beat it, you know. It'd hopefully get us back on track. You know, we got some good racetracks coming up, but these guys that built this race that never gave up all year long. Man, we had some struggles, but here we are, victory lane.
There you go.
Track too, New Hampshire, baby.
That's his home track. This means so much to Tommy Baldwin. He's won 2 races here, but never in the Winston Cup until today, Alan.
Our Auto Trader move of the race, got to be Ward Burton's pass for the win.
I would guess that would be, or Tommy Baldwin's gamble to run 100 miles on fuel.
Check it out. Matt Kenseth has a problem. And Ward pounces.
I'll go with that.
The cat pounced. Victory lane when we come back. Ward Burton has won the New England 300 at New Hampshire International Speedway. Welcome to the Autotrader.com post-race show. Coverage from today's New England 300 that has been won by Ward Burton. He passed Matt Kenseth for the lead with 9 laps to go to score his second victory of 2002.
See Jeff Green come home in second spot. Dale Jarrett, after starting back in 33rd, comes third. Rusty, great run. His teammate Ryan Newman in 5th.
Robbie Gordon, last November's winner, got a top 10 out of it. Kurt Busch made up a lap, come up with a top 10. Jimmy Spencer spun out early in the race, came back for a good run.
Bobby Labonte started qualified 4th, had to go to back up the rear of the field. 13th, Sterling Marlin, a point leader in 14th.
And Matt Kenseth still not on the radar screen. Dale Earnhardt Jr. back in 23rd after his late spin. He was one of the dominant cars. And there's Kenseth. Last car 1 lap down in 33rd.
Man, that's tough. Tough, tough, tough.
Tony Stewart crashed out. Kyle Petty. Slippery, treacherous track conditions today here in New Hampshire will no doubt be a dominant topic of post-race discussion. But not for Ward Burton, who's in victory lane with Bill Weber.
And he sits in the Caterpillar Dodge adjusting his hat and just about to climb out. He's got a phone call from his wife that he's going to take here in a moment. But right now here in victory lane, Ward Burton back for his first visit here since he won the Daytona 500 in February. And a big celebration with the crew. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Wow. Since Daytona, we have just been a mess, really. We broke so much and haven't run like we needed to, but didn't give up, and we stayed there all day and ran all day today. And
tell me about passing the 21, Ward.
21, we've always drove each other clean. He got a little loose, and he had a little bit older tires than I did. I thought it was over when the 17 got around us because he had better tires and he had something go down. I don't know whether the tire or what.
Did you see that?
I couldn't tell whether he had a tire go down or something, but something made his car change awful quick. I'm at a brake pad on the right front. I don't know how much further I could have gone either, but what a day for the Cat team.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Matt?
Jeff Green's race car looked like it came out of Martinsville instead of New Hampshire, but you were inching ever closer to that first win, and another big turnaround for an RCR team, Jeff.
Well, thanks, Matt. It's a good day for AOL Chevy. I don't think everybody knows we've had some struggling times this year, and we just had a plan today. If we got, to where we could run all the way on in on fuel, we wasn't coming in anymore. Track positions, everything, and Todd had a pretty good race car for me today. So all that said, I think we had something for Ward. Ward just got too far away from me on that last restart. And these restarts are hairy on those old tires, and it's a good day here in New Hampshire. Like I say, hi, Michelle. She stayed home this weekend, and we miss her.
career best finish, second for Jeff Green. Dave?
The defending winner of this race, Matt, is Dale Jarrett. He finished third today. Dale, pretty tough to hold him off at the end, wasn't it?
Well, it was. I thought I had a good enough car, but my car wasn't very good on restarts, and it took a few laps for my tires to come in. Those guys got by me, but congratulations to Ward. He did a great job. Todd made a great call for us. That was our only hope of finishing in the top 5, was try to conserve fuel, stay out there, and run as hard as we could, but we had a great day for the UPS team.
It was a good day for the 88. He comes home third. Alan?
Thanks, Dave. Let's check the championship standings after today's New England 300.
Sterling Marlin gained a couple of points, a few points on Mark Martin, Jimmy Johnson, and Rusty Wallace jumps up to 4th, gaining 2 spots. Gordon will lose 1, and Ricky Rudd up 1. Tony Stewart takes a big hit with his crash, down 2. Bill Elliott, -2 and 10.
Up next on TNT, it's Executive Decision. Next weekend, we're off to Pocono, Friday and Sunday on TNT. Pikes Peak on Saturday on NBC. Wild day here at New Hampshire today. And in the end, Ward Burton came from deep in the field, 31st starting spot, to score his 2nd win of 2002. We'll talk to you next weekend from Colorado and Pennsylvania.